All right, there we go. We're live. Now let me view my screen. There we go. All right, go ahead and talk for a little bit so I can adjust your volume.
Okay. Um, so I did go through and actually write up like an intro. Um, I don't know if you want me to do one or not, but I went ahead and got one ready just in case.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, and then I have a few things that I have saved on my computer this time, so that I can send you things that I've pulled up. So
Yeah, go ahead and run that through. I was just checking the audio real quick. I had to adjust that.
all right, are we good then?
Yeah, yeah, we're good.
Okay. Um, my intro is about 5 minutes. I can shorten it down if you want, um,
Oh yeah, go ahead,
or
do
if
the whole
that works
thing.
for you.
Yeah, whatever,
Okay.
whatever you got.
Okay. So, does democratic socialism truly deliver the economic equality it promises? I say no. Rather, it risks entrenching new inequalities, stifling opportunity, and dragging down the very people it claims to uplift. Let's peel back the rhetoric and look at what this system means for our economy and our future. First, democratic socialism hinges on a seductive but flawed idea that centralized control, government, redistribution of wealth can level the playing field. History and economics tell us otherwise. When the states take the reins of production and wealth, it doesn't eliminate inequality, it shifts it. Instead of disparities based on merit or market success, we get disparities based on political favor, bureaucratic access, or union clout. Look at any heavily socialized system, whether it's Venezuela's collapse or the sluggish growth of the European welfare states. The connected elite thrive while the average worker stagnates. In 2023 alone, the top 1% in Scandinavian countries, often hailed as socialist success, still held 20 to 25% of wealth equality. Hardly. Second, this system kills the engine of economic mobility. Individual incentive capitalism, for all its flaws, rewards risks, innovation, and hard work. Democratic socialism, with its high tax and heavy regulation, punishes those drivers. Why start a business if 60 to 70% of your profits are siphoned off to fund sprawling government programs? Why innovate if the state decides who wins? The Tax Foundation reported in 2024 that countries with higher tax burdens like Denmark or France see lower rates of entrepreneurship compared to freer markets like US. Less opportunity means fewer rags to riches stories, locking the disadvantaged into dependency rather than lifting them up. Third, let's talk about efficiency or lack of it. Government managed systems are notably wasteful. The US already spends $4 trillion annually on federal programs, yet poverty rates hover around 11 to 12%, barely budging since the 60s war on poverty began. Democratic socialism doubles down on this efficiency, promising universal programs, free healthcare, free college, guaranteed income without addressing the bloat. Britain's NHS, a darling of socialist advocates, face chronic shortages and waste times. In 2024, over 7 million patients were stuck in queues. When resources are spread thin, it's not the wealthy who suffer. They buy their way out of it. It's the poor, the vulnerable who wait in line, widening the gap socialism claims to close. Finally, consider the cost of utopia. The Institute for Economic Affairs estimates in 2023 that Senator Bernie Sanders' Democratic Socialist agenda would cost $97 trillion over a decade, more than double the US GDP to fund it. To fund it, you would need taxes that crush the middle class, not just the rich, in practice, as seen in France with its 75% tax experiments. The wealthy flee, leaving the rest to foot the bill. Economic equality becomes a mirage as growth slows, jobs vanish, and inflation spikes, hitting low-income families hard. Just look at the 1970s stagflation under heavy government intervention here in the US. Real wages fell and inequality grew. In conclusion, democratic socialism sounds noble. Who doesn't want fairness? But its track record shows it trades one inequality for another, saps opportunity, wastes resources, and burdens the very people it aims to help. True economic equality comes not from government handouts or control, but from unleashing individual potential in a free market that rewards effort over entitlement. Let's not sacrifice our economic vitality for a promise that history proves empty. Thank you.
Yeah, that was pretty well thought out. That was a nice little opening statement. I definitely have some rebuttals there for you. I didn't really
Okay.
come up with like like a structured one like you, but I definitely just want to like respond to like some of the things that you said because I feel like you made an argument, so
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
deserve
for
to
sure.
get a response, I guess. So you mentioned that democratic socialism. Well, one of the few things is that you said that it stops innovation, right?
Right.
So I would argue that it doesn't, and it actually enhances it, right? So like the whole goal of democratic socialism is to encourage innovation by the individual. The reason we want to tax the rich is because we want to provide the whole idea is we want to provide incentives to the minority, right? The reason that's important is because those are the people that could be providing a whole lot of extra innovation to a society that we're not, you know, getting basically. Like for instance, if there's no inherent good of allowing for things like educational inequality, health inequality, right? These are things that that if you just could increase across the board would always have a benefit because there's always going to be people that are great minds that don't get the opportunity to explore that. Now in a proper democratic socialist model, I mean, I'm not against capitalism, right? Like I think capitalism its main benefit is for growth, right? But unregulated growth leads to exploitation, and that's the main concern that I have with capitalism is that it's great, to have growth, but to the extent of how fast you achieve that growth needs to be talked about because, we could grow, super fast by enslaving, the entire rest of the world and, doing our every bidding. But would that be good for the long term? Absolutely not. I would argue that we already almost do this with, how much shit that we, outsource to other countries. As you know, China is a big, uh, producer for goods in the U.S. and a lot of the labor over there is very exploitative, and a lot of businesses in the U.S. know this and know that that's exactly why that these products are so cheap and why you're able to source them. So like in my proper economic model, I would be arguing strictly for like worker the little guy the person that doesn't have a lot of money even like i I think that like you if it's like completely unregulated and dystopian then
Hmm.
it's just unhumanitarian and that's always going to lead to conflict class disputes and whatnot, and there's no real downside to giving people who lack the resources to, you know, strive in life, you know, by not, I wouldn't really just call it handouts because, you know, you did say, you know, handouts, you know, I think that the biggest handouts that we give to are the people that don't need them at all, which is the ultra wealthy, I would say, you know, I would say that the people who need quote unquote handouts are the people that need them, you know? So that would just be a couple of the rebuttals. I'll let you respond to some of that.
Yeah. So, like, when I listened to your debate with that other guy, I noticed you kept saying that, you know, you wanted like a mixed government,
Mm-hmm.
which we already have here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know if you know this or not, but there's actually two other countries inside of our country right
What would that be?
now. They actually seceded from America. They
Oh, are you
have, I
talking
believe,
about
20
Texas
acres.
or the South?
No, no. This is in Nevada, um, and their money is cookie dough.
Where is this
Um,
at?
it's in. Yeah, that's what I should have pulled up. Um, hold on, I can pull it up here. Um,
I know that there's like small little cities that people claim that they're like, you know, sovereign to the United States that the US just doesn't like recognize. And I mean, if they're just not paying their taxes, then I mean, I don't. It how like how legitimate is it? Like, what services do they provide and stuff? You know, like,
they have they literally have everything. They still obviously negotiate everything with America and stuff, and they still like their residents actually work outside of their country, but all their taxes and everything go into their country.
so they don't pay any taxes.
They do. They have to pay on their income tax because they're outside of their country, but
Oh,
nothing on the inside of their country is governed by our government.
what do you know the name of this country?
I'm looking it up right now. Nevada.
And like, how are you like relating this back to uh
Because
socialism or democratic
so
socialism?
in our country, being a capitalist country,
Hmm.
you can practice socialism.
Right.
Okay, so you can go anywhere, buy a plot of land, and as long as you are, you know, not breaking laws, you can do whatever you want, right? You
Yeah,
can
but
have a
that
commune,
that
you
would
can
be
have
like
anybody
under,
come live there.
yeah, but that would be like under like a private entity sort of thing. Like my idea of
Hmm.
democratic socialism would be, you know, through the state, like the United States, right? Like our government,
But yeah, but
you know.
that's how you have to start, though, right?
Oh, what do you mean
I
by
mean, you
like
can't just.
start?
Well, you would have to start these communes in order to get any kind of um, political affiliations at that point,
Not
to where you could
necessarily.
start changing it.
I mean, you could just like if you're talking about like spreading awareness, absolutely. Like I definitely agree. Like awareness for change of like, you know, social issues definitely needs to spread. But I mean, you don't necessarily need to create like a small like coalition per se, or you know, a whole party. You can use your representatives, like, you know, in the parties that you know, you're Republican, so you know you have representatives that you can call up and you can make sure that they're representing your values, and if they're not, you can, you know, not vote for them and vote for somebody who more aligns with your values in the next election. But like
Hmm.
my my model was basically inherent upon, you know, that function. You know, I'm not like an anarchist or anything like that. Like I think that like we
Oh
need to
no, no, I don't
achieve,
think that at all.
yeah, we need to achieve like these means through like, you know, obviously a legal process that way that it stays fair. I think that in my idea of ways that we could move the entire country towards like making better decisions is, I think number one thing would be education, right? We need to like be pushing for education at all costs. I think that when we, argue for things like school choice, like private schools already exist, right? They don't need to be funded by the government. The government needs to be funding for, more education. In my idea, I don't think they necessarily need to be hiring schools. As far as I know, that there's like the problem is like with this teacher shortages, but from what I hear, it's due to a lot of administrative bloat. Like there's administrators getting paid lots of money or something like that, and
Hmm.
I think that administration is necessary, but uh, I mean. We just need to be allocating more funds. I mean, we allocate billions of dollars towards defense. I mean, come on, just like take a couple billion from that, throw it in fucking education. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
that's pretty much all it takes. And the most important thing for me would be that the federal government standardizes this across, you know, the nation so that it's equal. Because
Hmm.
Trump obviously going after the Department of Education would be counterintuitive to that idea because if you allow this to be like a states only thing, like the states fund it, there's gonna be inequality that comes with that because certain states have a lot more, are able to fund their education more than others, and then some states might decide, hey, we don't want to fund education, and that should not be allowed. Obviously, I think education is a must-have. I don't. I think if
So,
it's yeah, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, 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 go ahead.
Um, so with what Trump's doing with um, the Department of Education is he's getting rid of it at the federal level, not at the state level. So you'll still have Department of Education for your
Right.
state
Yeah, that
there.
would be my entire
So,
problem with it, is that he's getting rid of it because that federal level is what standardizes the funding across the nation, removing the inequality or
mhm.
minimizing it at least.
But the thing that it will change is how many teachers did you know growing up that weren't worth a shit,
That weren't what?
weren't worth a damn, couldn't teach, were
I
terrible.
mean, there was actually not too many, like only like a select few. A lot of my teachers actually were like really good. In my opinion, when I was young, like I didn't really appreciate a lot of the things they taught, but like now growing up and like seeing how relevant like things like one for instance, like one time, my I asked my history teacher, like, why are we learning this, and he was like, because history repeats itself. And then now learning the things that I learned in school and relating it back to things like politics, I'm like, holy shit, this guy was, saying something deep there. And,
Hmm.
my English teacher was, showing us, like trying to like get like teachers were definitely trying to push for like critical thinking and whatnot. But
Hmm.
like we weren't getting the hint, you know. But I think that needs to
Yeah.
be more apparent. And I think the main problem with education is that it's become too restrictive. Like I didn't like they aren't allowed to talk about certain things, and I don't think that that should be like I understand the concern about teachers pushing for personal beliefs and whatnot, but like there's I don't think that we should create a rule and just be like, oh, you're not allowed to talk about that. I think that there should be a guide, obviously, for proper way to follow the curriculum, but
Hmm.
I don't think that there should be
This
just
is a
outright
fight that
topics just banned. I think that's
this is a fight
anti-intellectual.
that I have on a daily basis, and my wife is a teacher. I feel the way I feel about it, and we talk about it all the time. And um, I me and her actually got not we don't me and my wife don't really argue. Um, she's She has a doctorate, and I'm going to school for law, and so we do a
That's
lot of
awesome.
debating at home.
That's awesome.
Um, and we were just talking the other night about it, and um, I said, I think that the only things that should be allowed in school is things that are meant for teaching. Okay, because she brought up something about some signs or something in the classroom, and I said no, I don't think you should be allowed to do that. She said why? I said because hers was she wanted to get a bunch of Disney stuff. And I
Hmm.
said, sure, if you can link it to, like there's some Disney stuff with math problems on it or whatever, or letters or something for your classes. Sure, that's great. I said, but if you're just decorating your classroom from, your own personal feelings, then we have to do the same for the next door classroom that wants all the pride stuff everywhere.
So, I mean,
So,
my rebuttal to that would be that a lot of these like Disney movies, they actually include like they sneak a lot of educational material right into the story itself. Like they teach you a lot
mhm.
about, right and wrong by leading you through these stories, through the, by presenting the characters and whatnot. And they can also teach you a lot about like, just I would say that like they kind of help you like engage with like reading material in a way
But
because
there's a
like
lot of biases in it too, though.
in like Disney movies.
Oh yeah, and a lot
Uh,
of propaganda.
I mean, I guess you could say that, but I would just say like a lot of it is just like for entertainment too. Like I've had teachers just put on movies just to be like, oh, it's an off day or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, like, but
and
like,
see that I
go ahead.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say like I've had teachers usually like to be like very have like a I don't know what grade does she teach at? I'm guessing this is like a
She's at
younger.
elementary school.
Yeah, yeah. So I would say like
Yeah.
so like they're gonna have like a lot of like loving stuff and whatnot, like it's stuff for that age group and like Disney and whatnot. It's all happy and whatnot. It's to get them excited. I would say the teachers are
Hmm.
going through a lot of extreme tactics to get kids engaged with education to make it like a fun experience,
Yeah.
because that's a big problem that teachers have is that their attention, you could look this up anywhere, attention spans of kids is going down drastically to the point where some
Oh, it's
teachers I've
ridiculous.
seen are taking, uh I don't know if you've ever seen it, they're taking like, videos of like subway surfers and like putting it next to like their lecture or whatever to like get them engaged to
Oh,
make it more like a TikTok video. You know what I'm saying? Where
yeah.
like it's like
Uh-huh.
where you can just like stare endlessly at this person playing Subway Surfers and
That's
but
actually that's a pretty good idea. I should tell my
yeah,
wife
yeah,
about
that's what
that.
I'm saying. Like that's the
That's a
kind of
really
stuff.
good idea.
That's the kind of stuff that they do
Yeah.
that you would like if you just looked at it, from like just initially like with a quick glance you'd be like
Hmm.
oh that teacher's just rotting their brains or whatever but the teacher's actually
Yeah.
trying to get them excited and engaged with the content, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, teachers definitely have much harder job now than they did when I was a kid. I graduated high school in '96, so I'm pretty old. Um, but like we would have maybe in elementary school that one, maybe two kids in the whole school that was rowdy.
Hmm.
The rest of us, we just sat at our desk, did our work. But now the whole school's like that.
Oh yeah.
The whole school's rowdy.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, they definitely have their work cut out for them, and that's why I think that if they got rid of the Department of Education at the federal level, where you're not paying some dickhead that's sitting in a 20-story building, just sitting around doing basically nothing, collecting 500,000 a year, where you could take that and send it back to the individual states where they can decide um, who the best teachers are, and actually put in um, a grading for the teachers. So like, you got this bad teacher. Well, you want to get rid of them. The other teachers are given grades. Well, when you see that that teacher is terrible, then they can get rid of them. There's no more of this
Well, I think
tenure.
the problem is that we don't have enough teachers, right? I don't think we need to be focusing on getting rid of teachers. We need to focus on getting as many teachers in as possible. High
Well,
quality
sometimes
teachers, obviously.
quality is better than quantity. Sometimes.
Well, yeah, but that's why like we need to be incentivizing people to go into these career paths. People
Mm.
there's no real incentive other than like you really love teaching is like if you wanted to, nobody does it for the money. I'm sure your wife
No,
does. Yeah, she don't do it for the money. So
no,
like it's
not
really just
even
about
close.
passion. So like we need to be incentivizing people to go into this career path. And I think one of the things that we could do would be uh, creating like we need to be pushing for more publicly funded higher education, right? And then what we could do is we could you know have it so that you're not just stuck in one position. You then move on to teaching in a higher education or stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you start out teaching young children, then you move up the age, and now you're teaching a higher education, or just some sort of system that incentivizes you know growth, I guess, or progress.
Mm-hmm.
Some sort of progress driven approach to where we're not so stuck on stagnation, you know,
Mm-hmm. Well, in
if that
order
makes
to
sense.
get that kind of promotion of job increases, you need quality jobs too.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
so, just creating what everybody's now calling, intellectuals, where everybody from high school now is going off to a 4-year college. Um, I think that's more detrimental, um, because after, I think it's 5 years after, if you graduate college, you're probably not even using your degree. Um, and then that's like at the bachelor's level, and then um, once you get into you know like your doctorate, maybe masters, you're using your degree more.
Right.
But these kids that are going in and just getting their liberal arts degree,
Right.
all we're doing is just creating debt for those kids right off the bat.
And
Where I
also
think
watering
maybe we
down the
should
market
more,
of college
yeah,
degrees.
yeah, I think that we should focus more on
Yeah, so
trade
like
schools.
I think that the focus with colleges and like higher education has more people have taken going to college as going to into a trade rather than seeking like actual higher education. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a big reason that I went to college, and a big reason I dropped out actually was because
Hmm.
of the fact that like I wasn't going because I wanted to learn anything or anything. I was going for business administration. It was literally just like prepping me to be like some manager basically. You know what
and
I'm
and
saying?
all your friends were going too, right?
Yeah, and they were going for like different
Yeah.
stuff and whatnot. And I just like,
Hmm.
and also one big thing with higher education that I saw, at least at it was a community college too. So I don't know if that was
Hmm.
that. I'm pretty sure I definitely got financial aid, so that's government funded. But
Yeah.
a lot of the classes that was taking for business administration was fucking bullshit. I was taking classes like geography, and they were required classes, and like that's
Yep.
just
Yep.
completely fucking. I did not need to learn about geography whatsoever. I mean, some classes like I
I
did
mean, you kind of
enjoy.
do in order to know like what kind of businesses would work in certain areas. but it
I
doesn't need to be a main
guess.
focus.
Yeah, I get, but like the stuff that we were learning in that class was like, I don't know, it was stupid. I didn't feel like,
No.
and one of the classes that I really felt like was just prepping me to be like, some office guy was I was taking like I think like I was literally just taking a class on like how to learn Microsoft Word and like all
Yeah.
Office products. And I was like, bro, like this is straight up bullshit. Like I'm not actually learning anything. I'm not being educated right now. I'm just fucking memorizing how to use this fucking this program or whatever. Like this is stupid.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
one class that I did enjoy was psychology, or it was either psychology or something with neuroscience or something like that. I don't know, but
Sociology, psychology.
yeah, I think it was psychology or something like that. But it was a really nice class
Yeah.
because my teacher was awesome. That was the thing. He was an awesome teacher, and he he was just like he really got you engaged. Like he would do like crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? He was one of those crazy teachers, but like it was really good. You know what I'm saying? He really got you
Hmm.
engaged, and he didn't care what you said because he viewed it as like it's all educational. You know what I'm saying? Say whatever you
Hmm.
got to
Yeah.
say. No wrong answers. You know.
Yeah. That's actually a pretty good professor then, I think, because most of them aren't like that. I actually just left, transferred out of the school because of the professor.
Yeah, I one of
That's
the
pretty cool.
I had some like my geography professor actually was like one of the shitty professors that I had. Probably why I didn't enjoy the class. But
Yeah.
I mean like I think that like what we need to be focusing on is just like education reform and funding. Like from a nuanced perspective. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that we should be dismantling anything. I think that what we have right now barely operates, and to dismantle it would be just even more catastrophic, just furthering, because I think that in a lack of education, like there's studies that prove this too. Lack of education like fuels you know prejudice and like racial ideals because when or like just falling for like misinformation in general, because when you have a system like when you've been educated and you've been taught to critically think and you know look at concepts critically, you are less susceptible to things like propaganda and misinformation. So I think that like a big reason that we're seeing a lot of racial tension and whatnot in our country and misinformation about a lot of stuff is because of the fact that like education hasn't been a primary focus for a while, and we do need to focus on that. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest mistakes was No Kid Left Behind, because like at my wife's school, you can't even hold your own kid back. Like if you think that your kid's not doing well enough in say first grade, you think that they should be held back. You can't even you don't even have that option. Um, everybody just goes on to the next grade.
Yeah,
Um,
I
so
definitely,
that
I
there's
definitely,
another.
yeah, I definitely see that argument of like, they're just like pushing kids through the system. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
a big problem is that like schools are like funded based off like their performance. So
Mhm.
it actually incentivizes them to like boost a lot of the numbers. Like that was something that I actually experienced in my school. Was like some teachers would like, you know, not cover topics or have to speed over stuff or get through this because there's like stuff that they had to fill a quota basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And
Yep.
I I I I think we needed to that's contributing to like a lot of the like I get like if you want to say that like the federal government has been a cause of like that that problem? I mean, sure you could, but I think that the answer to that is change how we fund schools. Don't fund schools based off of performance. I mean, just figure out some other metric. You know, I
Mhm.
think I think
Well,
that's
the I think the metric that I mean, we haven't seen it work. It hasn't started or anything. But I think that if we have um, the funding go back to the states, where states can um, decide where um, funding needs to go and stuff. If they have more money to dispense, then they have more places that they can dispense it. So like all these levies and everything that you pass in your towns and in your counties and stuff, most of that money's going just to the federal government. It's not even going to the school district.
so.
Um,
I think like one. So are you okay with like the federal government giving like standard amounts to each state to fund their schools? Like,
no, I just say that whatever money your state brings in just stays in your state, in your
but
county.
how would so we're just not gonna fund education like nationwide in any sort of way?
No, all your everything will still be funded. It would just be funded individually through the state instead of the federal government dictating
Well, it's
what
already
you have to.
there's already like state funds that go towards education. Like the lottery, at least in my state, the lottery funds education. But like, if we just say, hey, states, now you got to figure out how to fund everything, that's gonna kill the the schools. Because they get a lot of their funding from the federal government. So like, you're basically just gonna be taking away a lot of funding from schools if you
Well,
just
no, you're
say,
not taking any money because what is not going to happen anymore is your state isn't going to be sending any money to the federal government.
what?
They're just going to keep all that money.
What do you
So
mean?
they're not giving the government money that the government then turns around and says, okay, you get this much for your school.
What do you mean?
So, okay, so when the states are federal or when the schools are federally funded, okay,
Hmm.
all your states get this money. They don't actually. It's not like they actually take the money, send a check or whatever to the federal government, but they have to put it in um, in their uh, shoot, I can their financial records um, of how much money they brought in for the school. Then when taxes come around, they say this is what we brought in. This is where this money over here is supposed to go to this school for this. And then the federal government looks at it and says, okay, well, this is how much money you actually are going to get to have. And you can
Right. They
decide where you put it.
review. They review. There's well, that's not them giving any money to the federal government. That's just them submitting their financial records of what they're going to spend. Basically, like just
Mhm.
sending them their
And
budget.
yeah, and the government, and then the federal government says, well, no, we don't like that, so you're not going to do that part.
Well, what do you mean by we don't like that?
Or that we want you to do this instead of doing that. Like, you know, with all the woke stuff that has been going on in schools and
What do you mean?
stuff. The the alphabet soup and all that,
Well, like, do you know
and
what woke is?
DEI.
Do you know what woke is supposed to like mean? What you're specifically referring to is
No, I
like
just know
CRT.
what it. I just know what it's doing.
So do you know about CRT? Because I mean that's what they're teaching in schools.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
What's wrong with that?
Everything.
Well, so tell me what you think critical race theory is teaching. Like the goal of it is to teach.
Um, Basically, it's teaching the white people bad.
That's it.
That's that's basically, yeah. And
No,
that uh, according to Ibram X. Kendi, the only way to combat past racism is future racism. So
no,
I mean, that's exactly what it is.
no. Critical race theory is just teaching. It's just teaching people to be aware of systemic issues that have been, you know, plaguing certain demographic groups.
What systemic?
like like systemic issues like prejudices and stuff like that could like for like critical one of the things that like critical race theory teaches about is like slavery and like, you know, and whatnot, like the civil rights movement, you know, Jim Crow laws and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Like it's just teaching
Yeah,
about like,
they already do teach that. So what do we need CRT for?
yeah, but it's just teaching you to be like aware of further systemic issues that exist within our society.
Excuse me, sorry about that. Like what is going on now?
Like you could look at our judicial system. Like that's one of the big things. Like our judicial system is heavily, you know, racist.
How so? Is it racist?
Uh, like how we like just look at like, all right, for one metric I could show you. I mean, is like arrest. You know, tell me why you know, black and white people smoke weed at about the same rates, but you know, black people, you know, get arrested at like way higher rates. I forget the specific number, but I can look it up. I think it's like double or something, some crazy number.
Hmm.
So like,
Do you think that maybe there was anything else going on before just the weed incident? Do you think maybe there was other things involved?
no, it's mostly just because like black communities are more heavily policed than white communities, which is like a fact.
No, no, they're under police.
No, it's not true. It's literally the other way. It's the other way around. Like dense urban communities are like heavily policed, which is, you
What's
know,
um what's the
generally, huh?
what's the percentage population of blacks
Yeah,
in America?
I'll look up some statistics for you, because like there's statistics that will like really shine this light on for you.
Yeah, I think that the black population is like 12 or 13%, and they commit 50% of the crimes.
That that statistic, hold on, that statistic is bullshit. I've heard that one, and it's misrepresented, and that's like a common fucking Nazi fucking talking point. I don't know if you know that, or why we should be racist to black people.
Hey, don't call me an Nazi, man.
I'm not calling you racist. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right, let me look up these statistics for over policing. Okay. So black drivers are 20% more likely to be stopped by police than white drivers. Black drivers are 1.5 to 2 times more likely to be searched for drugs, or searched during traffic stops. Usually for drugs is the excuse that they make up. Uh, After sunset, when racial identification is harder, the disparity in black traffic stops by 10%, proving racial bias. Black
Where's
Americans,
that from?
Black Americans, huh? Oh, you want the sources for these?
No, I didn't need you to send them or anything. I was just curious who it was, what it
Oh,
was through.
the here, yeah, I'll list. It was Stanford Open Policing Project 2019. Uh, yeah, that was for all three of those. That was the Stanford
Okay.
Open Policing Project 29. The last one was from 2017. Uh, Here's some others. Black Americans are 3.64 times more likely to be arrested, for marijuana possession than white Americans, despite marijuana at similar rates. That's from the ALCU in 2020. In NYC, oh my gosh, these motherfuckers in NYC are the most corrupt police I've ever fucking seen. Uh, the stop and frisk program, Black and Latino make up 90% of stops, but we're less likely than whites to have contraband. That's just that's some shit right there. They make up 90% of the stops, but
Mhm.
we're less likely to have contraband despite making up a way larger percent. That's some crazy shit, right? I mean, that should just throw it right in your face. Those motherfuckers are racist. Somebody's doing some stereotyping there. Uh,
Do you know what the crime was in the 70s in New York, 70s and 80s?
I mean, cities always have higher rates of crime, but no, not off the top of my head. No, I know back then it was
So,
pretty high.
so they were. It was actually even. It was actually higher than it is now. I think. I think it was at about.
Talking about when
Uh,
Al Capone was doing his thing or
no,
some
no,
shit.
no, no, no. 70s and 80s,
Yeah, I
not in the
wasn't around
20s.
for this time, so I don't.
Um, I was around in the 80s, so New York was insane. Gangs were everywhere. Um,
Was it
Crime was
like
through the
Crips and
roof.
Bloods or
Murders.
something like that?
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Warriors. Um, it wasn't quite that bad, but it was pretty much like that.
I
Guys would
did see
ride
that
around
movie.
subways at
That was a
night.
really good movie.
It's one of my favorites. Um, but
Warriors, come out and play.
but when Giuliani got in and he did broken window program, which was if you do anything illegally, you get stopped, frisked, and crime went way down, way down. And those policies stayed in up until just before De Blasio, when Bloomberg was leaving. Those
hmm
policies changed, and all of a sudden now New York is right back up at the top of the crime again.
Well, I
So
mean, I don't. So, I mean, I think that would be contributed to other factors. I don't think that policing necessarily is what solved the problem. I think that because police are incentivized to make arrests. You know that, right? That's how their performance metrics are. That's how they get promotions is based off how many arrests, how many tickets. That's the whole reason behind why people get mad about. I was actually you've definitely experienced this where cops filling quotas at the end of the month. When pulling you over for dumb shit. Like I got pulled over for doing 10 miles over the speed limit, and
mhm,
uh he didn't even write me a ticket for that. He wrote me a ticket for not having fucking my registration and license with me or some shit, or
yeah,
no, registration and insurance, so and it was right at the end of the month. It was on New Year's, so it was right at the end of the month,
well,
so I
yeah. I
was.
mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
cops do stupid shit all over the place. Like I used to live in Denver, and uh, right on. Uh, I've lived in so many places. I got to think of the freeways. I'm on I-25, going through Denver. There's six different interchanges of freeways that you can take, right in downtown Denver, and it was 55 mile an hour speed through there. They were writing so many tickets that finally the judges all got together and said, "Listen, you cannot write a ticket anymore unless they're doing 11 miles an hour over the speed limit,"
Right.
because they were literally writing them for like 1 mile an hour over.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, the cops do some shady stuff. But then there's, people that get together and say, hey, look, you can't just do it this way. You got to do it this way. So I could
So,
probably agree that there probably should be some type of, you know, um, police reform, um, but not a defunding or anything like that. Maybe more looking for better quality people instead of just hiring anybody.
well, I think one of the main things that we can do is training reform. I think a lot of the problems that come from police misconduct is how they're trained. Uh,
Hmm.
a lot of it comes from like just like in their training they're taught like you have to protect yourself, that everyone's out to get you, basically. And it like even like out when they're doing like their field training and stuff, like there's this one ex-cop that talks a lot about it. uh but like he talks about like how like you know it turns you into this mindset of like where like you're the person, since you're like enforcing the law, you start to like act like you are what the law is basically. And you
Oh yeah,
dictate the, you
yeah.
know what I'm saying. And
Well,
you
there's
know
that adage, power corrupts absolutely.
another
And
big thing that I think that just like easily that we could do to start forcing a lot of police accountability: remove qualified immunity. Remove it. Qualified immunity is a big reason that a lot of cops don't give a fuck about what they do, because the problem with it is that all they have to do is say, "Oh, I was, just in fear for my life doing my job." That's all. That's all they have to do. I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing, I was just doing my job. And they use it in like stuff that's just like egregious, like sure you're clocked in, but you shouldn't have been with your conduct. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
And I think it's a big reason that a lot of cops have been getting away with like these killings, and it's a big reason that a lot of people are like protesting and whatnot. Because I think like if a lot of these cops just had accountability, we wouldn't see a lot of protests of people saying that there's like major injustice and whatnot. Because a lot of these protests around George Floyd and all these people that have gotten killed was because everyone was so mad because we knew that those police were not going to be held accountable. We all knew it. I mean, George Floyd, I'm pretty sure the police he was charged or whatever. Uh, but that's only because like there was like overwhelming. There was a video of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if there wasn't a video of it? They tried to lie and say that, I think in the report they said that like he had suffered a medical episode. Well, what that medical episode was them fucking putting their knee on his neck for fucking 10 minutes, choking him the fuck out. So
Well, do
like
you also know that he had an obscene amount of fentanyl in his system?
that doesn't justify killing him.
No, no, I'm not saying that. But did you happen to see the whole police video,
I don't. I like no.
the whole body
Just
cam?
just a short answer, no. But
Yeah.
regardless, none of that. The minute fuck, I'm stuttering here.
No
Minneapolis,
worries, no worries.
the Minneapolis police have been like, called out specifically for being like extremely corrupt. Like this brought a lot of light onto their department, and a lot of other corrupt shit that they did was exposed. And one of those things was like the fact that how they lied was exposed in that video, basically. From what I know, is like I didn't watch it obviously, but I know that like the video that was taken by, I think it was like some girl across the street, was like the only reason that people knew that what actually happened was that he was fucking choked with by the cops putting their fucking knee on him, rather than you know their report just saying that he had some medical episode. And then you would just hear, oh well, he had fentanyl in him, and it leads you to just be like, oh well, it must not have been a big deal. You know what I'm saying? But I think that we need to focus on what was a real issue in that situation, which was police brutality, you know?
Uh-huh. So, you thought it was okay then for them to go around and burn the country down?
No, no, I don't endorse like rioting, but I can descriptively tell you why they do those things. I'm not saying that it's right, but I do understand why they do it
Okay, so can you explain to me why they firebombed the police station in Portland for something that happened in Minneapolis?
because they don't like police. I'm not saying it's right, but
Okay,
that's why.
okay. But just earlier you said you weren't an anarchist.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's why they don't like police. When they're mad at the police. I'm not saying any of that stuff is right. I'm just saying this is why. Like we could relate this back to like them burning down
Well, I
Tesla's
can see
Tesla
what you're saying.
stuff or Tesla stations and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I could sit here and tell you, they're doing it because Elon did the Hitler salute, but that doesn't mean that I think that it's right that they're burning the stuff down. It's just why.
I see what you're saying. It's kind of the same. Like I can see that there's situations where you could hit a woman,
Yeah, like I
that
could
kind
like
of thing. Yeah,
yeah, I put myself in their shoes,
yeah.
I could see their perspective.
And I'm not saying that you hit women or I hit women or anything. I'm
Oh
just
yeah, yeah, no,
analogy.
yeah, no, fuck beating on women. No, that shit. No. But yeah, just devil's advocate type shit. But I
Yeah.
mean, going back, I was looking at one of these statistics, and I remembered one of the ones from a while ago. Police in general are way less likely to be killed by civilians than we are by them. Like I think it was like 50 cops a year get killed by civilians, but like over 1,000 unarmed civilians get killed by police every year. So it's just like when they ever talk about
That's a little
officer
off
safety.
because just in 2023, I think it was 1,500 cops that were killed unarmed.
I mean, maybe there was a spike, but I mean, I'm pretty sure I looked it up a little while ago. It's just, I'm pretty sure, like, on average, at least. Sorry. But the statistic that I wanted to read off was Black Americans are 2.5 times more likely to be killed by police than white Americans. Unarmed black people, this was the one. Unarmed black people are 3 times more likely to be killed by police than an unarmed white person. Oh, and this one is over policing in schools and communities. Black students make up 50% of public schools, but 31% of arrests. And that's from the U.S. Department of Education. Oh, yeah, the thing, it's not going to exist. Uh, yeah, I got some more if you just want me to. I can keep reading on, but I don't want to just keep
Oh
throwing
no, no,
statistics at you.
I was looking at these numbers real quick about, that I pulled up. I was listening to you, but I was also counting, and that this is a terrible website. I don't know why I clicked on it.
But yeah,
So
and like one of the things that I think, like just from a general nuance perspective, is like one statistic that really I don't like that kind of proves to me that this is like a systemic issue. Like crime in general is a systemic and poverty based related issue is just because of the recidivism rate is like 1/3. Like if you go to prison, you're like 1 out of 3 people will end up back in there, and that's obviously because if you go to prison, you get a record with you, and that hurts a lot of your ability to then go be a not a productive member of society. Like people make you know videos just, documenting, trying to reintegrate back into society, as an ex, convict. And like the system
Mhm.
is not built to, favor somebody who just makes a mistake, maybe, maybe it was a big mistake, but like certain things I don't think should be, classified as a big mistake. Like having drugs, like if you're caught in the possession and you're not, distributing, you should not be charged with like a felony. But like certain drugs, if you're caught with them, you can be charged with a felony. And if we look at like uh one thing that I really don't like is like the scheduling of drugs federally. Like obviously like weed is like scheduled as, schedule one drug,
Yeah.
just as dangerous as heroin. That's fucking bullshit. I can
Now, now
legally.
that the marijuana law, I think I could agree is a racist law.
Exactly. Yeah,
Um, because
I
they actually designed it back in the 30s and 40s that because black people did it,
uh-huh.
it's bad.
Uh-huh. And Nixon
So that
specifically
that I
was, I'm sure you probably heard the tapes of him saying we gotta lock up all these, black people smoking reefer, you know,
yeah
and it was, yeah, that the war on drugs and whatnot,
mhm,
it was definitely, racist, you know,
yeah
and I think, that has just like been something that has been really hard for us to grow out of. And if you look at like, what states have been progressive on fixing and rectifying that issue, well, those are blue states. You go to any red state, weed usually isn't. I don't think pretty much most of the red states are the ones that weed is still not legal. You know.
yeah. Montana just legalized medical.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Um,
live in a blue
you are
state, and
not you,
it's
what's
recreational.
that?
Yeah, I'm in a blue state, and it's recreational over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm in Washington. We're the same way.
But
I've never seen a problem with weed ever.
yeah, I think it's just like you said, it was a lot of racist shit from the back in the day. The reefer madness
Mhm.
shit and
Yeah.
propaganda. Because and that also relates. Like I think this is something that's still is like current. Today, not just like with like weed, but I think like, after weed it became crack, what I'm saying? Uh then they started
Well,
using the crack epidemic to justify a lot of, police brutality and whatnot, or like over
that was
policing, I would say.
actually CIA.
But yeah, they funded it.
Yeah.
They
Well,
funded the
like
crack epidemic.
in Chicago, they would drop off boxes of crate of guns and drugs, literally.
Just setting them up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so like
Yeah, the
uh,
CIA definitely did crack.
yeah, so like that I think that these practices are just like still heavily ingrained in other, ways. If you just look at our constitution, uh, you know, everyone thinks that slavery was outlawed. That's not true. Only if you're not convicted of a crime. If you look at the actual amendment, slavery is only, illegal unless you're convicted of a crime. So then we do enslave prisoners. We don't pay them. We don't have to pay them anyway. And a lot of prisons don't pay them their workers a wage for a lot of the work that they do. And they'll have these prisoners doing some of the craziest shit. They were just helping out with the fucking fighting the Palisades fires and shit. And you know how much they were getting paid? $5 an hour. And they were just happy to get that. They were like, this is the most money I've ever gotten paid to fight
Yeah.
fires. This is just straight
Well,
up slavery, especially when you look at like the incarceration rates of who they're locking up. You know, we're literally enslaved, just like it's literally just a system designed to enslave black people in a legal manner. because they're disproportionately arrested and imprisoned.
Yeah, crime statistics don't say that, but if you can still look and see the crime rates between the populations, the difference in populations.
What was that statistic that you said it earlier? They make up.
I believe that they're like, I think that they're less than 20% of the population, and about almost 50% of the crimes.
I want to look up that statistic because I remember there was like. Is that let me just look it up so I can be accurate in what I'm talking about.
Sorry, I'm just trying to pull something up here.
No, you're good. I'm typing too. Okay. So that statistic, that statistic is about arrest rates, and black people are disproportionately arrested. So like just because somebody is arrested doesn't mean that they committed a crime, right? So like let we would have to look at conviction rates if
Okay,
we
so 13.7% of the population is black or African American.
well, even if
Um,
we do look at conviction rates, it's still the system is still designed to not favor because if let's say you come from an area where you don't have a lot of money, which a lot of black people do come from a background of not having generational wealth, you aren't able to afford a lawyer, a good lawyer. You can get a public defender, but I don't think you'll be winning that case anytime soon. So like the system is designed to be allow people to buy their way out of crimes, and if you don't have the money to, well, you're not getting and you know we already know that arresting rates are racially biased. So then that just like further skews the data basically. You know what I'm saying? It's basically this this is just kind of furthering the argument that the system itself is inherently racist because like obviously there's nothing about having a certain type of skin that causes you to commit crime at a higher rate. Could we agree
do you
that?
think situation does though?
I think environment does, if that's what you want to
Well,
say.
yeah, okay. Situation, environment, yeah.
Yeah. I think it matters where your socioeconomic, stance, your financial stance, right? Your educational background, and pretty much, those are the biggest things,
Hmm.
you know.
So, do you know who? Oh gosh, dang, Clarence Thomas is?
Yes, I'm trying to remember. I've heard that name, Clarence Thomas. Give me you talk about him. What?
Supreme Court Justice.
Oh yeah. I know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know he grew up in the Deep South, heavily racist. Back then, this was in the '60s, '50s, and '60s.
Hmm.
Um, Literally lived in a hut in Alabama on dirt floors, and now he's a Supreme Court justice.
Right. He's
Um,
also like extremely corrupt.
How?
He was caught. I can send you. Uh, did you watch Last Week Tonight at all by John Oliver?
No,
He does
no.
a
Go ahead.
really good deep dive into Clarence Thomas and how he's basically like he's straight up caught like taking money from like these billionaires or whatnot. Like they were taking him out on these lavish trips and whatnot, and it's all under the he's not reporting these. Like that's the thing. Like he's not reporting these as income, and they're taking him out on these lavish vacations and whatnot, and all under the guise of calling it I think what was the word? Like personal hospitality, which is supposed to mean having lunch at somebody's house, not taking them out on like a fucking bro, he was taking them out on like hunting trips and shit and like fucking like expensive vacations. Here, let me send you the video just so you can see for yourself. It's a long video, so you're not
Well,
gonna.
I find it kind of amusing. Um, you guys on the left, you guys always complain that we're doing something to harm the black community, and then when we say, "Hey, look what somebody from the black community's done," the first thing you guys do is say how that person's either not black or they're not qualified.
No, he's. I'm not saying he's not
Like,
qualified. I'm just saying that he's not. He's not. He doesn't
or he's
ethically.
corrupt.
He is corrupt. That's just not. It's not because he's black. There's plenty of fucking. I would love to have more fucking black people in politics, have more diversity. But DEI is illegal now. I guess
How
so.
about Ben Carson?
Huh? Ben
I guess
Carson.
he's corrupt too, huh?
Remind me of him. I've heard the name.
Neurosurgeon,
uh,
ran for president.
Bank. Oh no, I heard something about he likes Trump or something. I don't know much about him. I haven't seen it, but if I looked, I bet you if he's like some Republican, I bet you he's fucking corrupt.
Of course, because he's black and he's Republican.
Just cause he's a
How about Nancy
Republican.
Pelosi? What do you think of her? She's pretty
She's
awful,
corrupt.
huh?
I can agree she's corrupt. She does insider trading. Yeah, I know about her. I'm not saying that there's no corrupt Democrats. Look at Chuck Schumer. Look at
Oh man, he's
yeah,
the worst.
yeah, he's the worst, dude.
But I mean, Mitch McConnell's not much better. So,
Well, I don't like Hakeem Jeffries either. I don't like none of these pro-Israel Democrats. But like I didn't like Kamala for her pro-Israel stance, right? But the only reason that I was advocating for people to vote for her was because, you know, she was obviously not gonna have the extremist uh take rather than Trump on that situation. He wants to fucking. I still haven't sent you those videos about that Trump shared about. Did you see them of like the AI generated videos that he shared of like what he his plans for Gaza, where
oh
like
yeah, I've seen a few of those.
yeah, like that shit was
Yeah,
ridiculous. That's
I know they're
ridiculous.
pretty funny.
Well, I mean I don't I just don't like. Sure, you can laugh at it or whatever, but I don't think that like starvation. Like I don't think the situation was funny. I don't think the situation of what is going on in Gaza is funny at all. And I can
No,
send
no,
you.
no, no war is funny.
No, I'm just saying like what specifically what is happening in Gaza is like they're literally mass starving people. Like innocent children, they're sniping fucking children and shit. Like this shit is like even though there's not an official like they're investigating this shit and looking in to see if like it is an actual genocide. I think they said it's plausibly a genocide, but like there's no charges, international charges or whatever of genocide. So like the biggest cope is like, oh, it's not. There's no charges of genocide, so it's not a genocide. But every scholar has come out and said that this is definitely a genocide. And if we look back at history, that's how it happened with Hitler too. At first, before there was charges of genocide, before we Hitler was charged with that or whatnot. Uh, there was scholars coming out and saying like this is a fucking there's a genocide over here, like like this needs to be investigated. But let me send you this video about Clarence Thomas because he is corrupt. I'm not. It's not because he's black though. That would definitely be racist. Yeah, I'll just DM it to you. This is the last week tonight video, and I want to send you this other video too, because so you can. It says the video says it's about fucking YouTubers supporting Israel, but it's mostly talking about Israel and all the shit that they do. It's a really good
Mhm.
video, so I want to send you that as well. Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
But
definitely, really.
but yeah. Oh, what do you think about Trump's invocation of the Alien Enemies Act of 17 who knows what?
What do you mean?
The so he invoked the Alien Enemies Act, which is basically like the last time we did that was uh when we put like the Japanese in internment camps. So it's basically an like some type of fucking thing that you can only enact when we're in times of like war. But there's no war. Like Congress has not declared any war. He
No,
can
but
say
we've declared the cartels terrorist organizations.
that's fine. You can do that all day, but we're not at war, so you can't invoke a wartime fucking you know power or whatnot. An act or whatnot when we're not at war. You can't just do that. This is
It's not a wartime act.
yes, it is. It's only you can only.
It was actually enacted in 1785, 817,
I'm not saying it was made
89,
during
I
a
believe.
war. I'm just saying that like it was. You can only use it when we're at war. It can only be enacted when we're at war. We're not.
Well, it's an invasion.
Yeah, well, you could call it whatever you want, but we're not at war. Wars are declared by Congress. You cannot. There's a reason for that.
When did Vietnam get declared a war?
Oh, I don't know.
It wasn't. When
It
did
wasn't.
Afghanistan get declared a war?
It wasn't. Was it?
No,
Well,
no. We
let me.
haven't declared war since World
Was
War
it?
II.
Was it? Were
Yeah,
they not declared wars? Let me look this up.
we have not declared war. We had what do they call them? What was Vietnam considered? It was considered a.
The Vietnam. Okay, so it was not a declared war. It was fought under the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was because
Yeah.
Lyndon B. Johnson was granted broad military powers to assist South Vietnam without a formal yeah, I don't agree that he should be allowed to do that. I don't think that we should be taking like these past instances of, you know, power imbalance and saying that that's like precedent for how we should proceed with current law. I know these aren't law cases, this isn't case law.
But it does set precedent, though.
Not really. Not really. This is we could say if we want to abide by that logic, then slavery should still fucking exist. Okay? Because
Well,
then you can just go
we abolished it.
yeah, but then we could go back and just say, well, at one point it was legal, so we should keep it legal. You could argue precedents if we like. There's no, you can't do that because it's not actual case law. There's no ruling being done here or anything like that. It's not the same thing. You know that, Mr. Lawyer.
Well, no, I'm not a lawyer. I'm still pre-law. I'm not even,
Hey, well you studying
not
it.
close.
You probably know more than me.
I know a little bit, but I don't know a whole lot. So still learning, still learning.
But
Um,
yeah, like I don't agree. So like my main thing is the last time we enacted the Alien Enemies Act is when we did the internment camps on the Japanese, and I think that that was like a major stain on like our history. Don't you think? Because after we did it, you know, we were like able to we're taught this shit like pretty much in school like that this was like a horrible time because like there was a lot of Japanese racism, racist, a lot of people racist towards them, and it led to like that wasn't fair. Do you think that was fair to like put Japanese people in internment camps just because we were at war with the Japanese?
do do I think it was fair? Probably not fair, but necessary.
Nah, I don't think. I don't think it was necessary. I mean, if
You
we're gonna
don't see
relate,
where there was any
even
probability that some of them could have been spies, could have been ready to carry out some kind of plot.
well, that's true, but the that doesn't that
I mean,
doesn't justify it.
we were in a world war.
If it, like the best argument that you could make is that the Japanese were very, very like they've done a lot of heinous shit during World War II, which is
Hmm.
historically accurate. They definitely did do a lot of heinous shit, but I don't think that that allowed us to assume that every Japanese person in the U.S. because if somebody's coming to the U.S. maybe they don't agree with Japan, and that's why they moved here because they thought we were the land of the free, you know, and all
But
of a
we
sudden
couldn't
they,
take that chance.
huh?
We
We
couldn't
can't.
take that chance, though.
Well, then you could make that argument with just let's lock up every black person then for fucking security to make sure that they don't commit any more crimes. And I don't think that we should be just locking up people based off of race. I think that that's horrible. It's a complete injustice.
Yeah, um,
I don't think it's
I would
I
agree
don't
with you on that.
I don't
But
think it's
I can
necessary
also
either.
see where they were. I mean, this was in the 40s.
Yeah,
They
it's
didn't have
different
the same
times.
kind of
Yeah,
technology that we
different
have
times,
now,
different attitudes.
where they could have vetted them. You know,
Well, my thing, another thing that I want to touch on with this is like, are you aware that you know green card holders are getting like deported for uh like being pro Palestine?
yeah, good.
Good.
Hmm.
They're a green card holder.
Do you know what that means?
They're here illegally.
Yeah, but do you know why?
What? Why?
Because we said you could come in.
So
You
what?
start support. Yeah, you start supporting a terrorist group. When you're a
Bro,
guest, we don't have to allow you here anymore.
what happened to freedom of speech?
You can have freedom of speech, but you're not. You don't get to support terrorists.
What are you talking about? Freedom of speech
Hamas,
is not supporting.
Hezbollah are
Is
terrorist groups.
okay. So if I say I support if I say I support that, are you gonna is that should that be a crime?
Just saying you support it? No, but do you
Okay, so
realize
that's
that that
exactly
kid
what
was
happened.
one
That's
of
exactly
the
he wasn't
spokesmen
sending
and
he
backers?
wasn't sending them money. He wasn't sending them money. He was just and it wasn't even specifically supporting Hamas. It was pro Palestine protest. Just because you support Palestine does not mean that you support Hamas. You
He
can
specifically, he specifically was calling for the downfall of America.
okay, so what? Was he doing anything to enact that? Was he financially supporting any groups?
Yeah, he was the spokesperson, and he was funding all of these protests that were going on.
That's no, that's not sending money to terrorist organizations. You can fund protests all you want. You can organize protests all you want. That's part of freedom of speech.
Yeah, but when you start, when you are closing campuses, when you are threatening Jewish people on the campus that they paid for, and not letting them attend the college courses that they paid for, you are no longer welcome.
He wasn't even like I think he wasn't even like involved in an organization. He was mostly just a spokesperson from what I
So you
heard.
think they just picked a random person and was like, oh hey, oh just so happens that this random person holds a green card. Oh hey, just so happens that this random person supports terrorists.
Oh, it
You
just
think that
so
all those were
happens
just
that the person that we
coincidences?
can support or that we can deport is a green card holder. Well, he deported he deported like a actual U.S. citizen too,
Who?
or maybe that was him. Maybe I don't want to mix up
No, man.
my
You can't.
immigration
You
terms
can't
here.
deport. You can't deport citizens,
Let's see.
naturalized citizens.
I'm pretty sure I heard it. Looking it up right now. Hmm. Let me look it up. No, ChatGPT's not working. I gotta find the video.
Are you on the East Coast by any chance?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious.
Let's see. God damn, this guy fucking uploads a lot of videos. What did you think
I
about?
really.
Did you hear about the teacher who was forced to remove every the everyone is welcome sign from her classroom?
No.
Oh, let me send you that video. I don't know. I heard it in a fucking video the other day. I'm not gonna be able to find it, but I'll send you the video about the every the taking the sign down. This one. I just sent it. I know. All right. So what about the what about when Trump deported? What about those planes that he sent to yeah, the Venezuelan gang members per se that were sent to El Salvador?
Bye. Bye.
By
Yeah.
you, so when Trump is
Hope it
just
was
do
worth it.
like people are just like being like completely like disappeared. Like people's names are not. Oh yeah, that I think that was the reason why. It's because like the name of the person wasn't released or something like that. Like people are just like disappearing and shit.
Who? Who's just disappearing?
I don't know. I'm just repeating what I've heard. But my point is like do you know what goes on in El Salvador? Like their prison.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a great prison.
Do you
If you
know?
want to be, if you want to be a psychopath and you want to go around and do things like they do, yeah. See you later.
Okay, what if you just like have tattoos?
Well, that's not a crime,
Oh,
but
well, that's what they
when
do
you're
in El Salvador. Like, if you have tattoos, they just fucking take you because they think that you're a part of a gang. You and
Well,
there's
I
no
know Salvador.
sentences.
I don't care
You don't
about
when you go into there, you don't get out. It's a life sentence.
no, no. He's like 900 sentences. Yeah.
Who the hell joined? This is a two room limit, 2 person room. How the fuck did they do that? I don't know how they did
I
that.
don't know.
But yeah, like that you get fucking life sentences there, and the fucking conditions are fucking horrible. Like a lot of these people there's no due process. Like that's the problem. Like there's no you're not proving that these people have committed any crime. You're just fucking saying, "Oh, I think you're a part of this." Oh, so we're just gonna treat you as if we just convicted you of a crime. No, where's the proof? Where's the that's the whole problem. Like they're not proving shit. They're just saying, "Oh, I think you're this." So we're just gonna fucking throw you in this fucking horrible fucking condition prison. That's not even in this country. Like this is just like it's straight up human trafficking. Imagine this is just like Hitler's fucking Auschwitz trains just all over again. They just replace the train with a fucking plane.
No, no. There's a big difference between what Hitler did and what's
You have
going on.
no idea what's going on in that fucking prison. Like they could be torturing people for all you know.
Okay.
And you're just like, ah, whatever.
Don't break the law and come into my country.
That's exactly the same mindset that Hitler was able to convince the fucking German people of. Like that's why this is fascism, is because like it leads people to like dehumanize like these certain groups, like immigrants per se. Like just because somebody wants to come to this country doesn't make them a criminal.
If you cross the border illegally, you are a criminal.
It shouldn't be that way. It should just be that you're undocumented, and we shouldn't be worrying just because somebody's from another country that they're a criminal and being, well, I have to vet you. Well, you gotta have your papers. Like this is not Nazi
Well, yeah.
Germany. Like
Would
people
you
don't
just
have
let
to.
anybody in your house?
Yeah, see, yeah, that's a common analogy that I hear, and there's an easy rebuttal to that. The U.S. government and like all of its land and everything is public. It's not private. It's not the same thing as your house.
Yeah, it's public
It's a false equivalence, basically.
to
The the
citizens,
the
not
the
to
country the
everybody. You are
country and
citizens.
everything is not your house. You don't get unilateral like say over the entire country.
No,
And
you
don't you think it's
realize that
kind
I
of like
can't just walk over and go to Mexico, right?
don't you think
I
that
can't
that's
just go
like kind
over
of
there and
like
live,
bad for
right?
like don't you think that's kind of bad for like global world peace to be like alienating anyone who comes from another country?
No, I'm totally okay with you coming from another country if you're doing it legally. I welcome it.
Yeah, but you
We let
just
a
made
million
but the
people
pro
a
but
year in.
but as we discussed before, the process is like extremely hard to get in the country.
Yeah, it is, but it doesn't give you the right to just go ahead and break the law.
But
I
can
mean,
you
there's
understand
lots of
why?
people
Can
that
you
I
can
don't
you can
agree
you at least
with that I
understand
actually hate
why?
in life, but
So
I
like
can't go and just end their
sure,
life because I
sure,
don't
you
like
can
them.
say that, right? And you could apply that same argument for why people this all relates back to one common thing. What is right versus what happens, okay? People burn
Hmm.
down Elon's dealerships. People riot, right? People do terrorism, right? But it's because of a reason. So if we don't create the conditions for people to do these things, people commit crime because they have issues with poverty. They need to they rob. Why does somebody rob? When was the last time you heard a billionaire going up and sticking somebody up in the middle of the streets with a gun, saying, "Give me your purse, lady"? Never, because I don't need to. If you create the conditions for somebody to not have to do these things, a magical thing happens where they just don't do it.
Uh, no, either
Yes.
criminals are going to commit crime.
If you create the conditions to remove the reasons for why somebody would commit crime, they will not do it.
Well, I mean,
Not all
no,
crimes,
not
because there's
really.
some crimes
Not
where
really.
you can't change the conditions. Some crimes you can't change the conditions, like compassionate crimes, right? But there's a majority of crimes are related to like all property related crimes and stuff like that. That's all because of systemic issues. We could even argue that homicides related to gang violence are related to systemic issues. People don't have the I mean, can we agree that like the gang lifestyle is like a cycle? Because what happens is you have communities that are over policed, right? And then you have all these fathers who are locked up and in prison, and if they're lucky enough to get out, can't get a job, can't support their family, right? Then you have a bunch of single parent mothers, right? And then that
Mhm.
leads to an imbalanced family where there's a lack of a male father figure in the child's life. And who do they look to for that father figure? They look for people around them. And you know who they see? They see the guy on the block with a nice big chain and the nice car and all the women. They talk about it all the time. In rap songs, you can listen to all of them, right? They'll talk about that. They grew up and the person that they see on the block with all the money. Yeah, well, guess what? He was the drug dealer. He was the fucking pimp. So they wanted to be like him. They don't want to commit the crimes, but they want to have all the money, just like him. But the only way for them to be able to do that is to commit crimes just like him. Or maybe they'll get lucky and they can fucking play basketball and fucking, make it out the hood, But a majority of them, that's all they got. They got two options. Or maybe you can rap. They got like three avenues out the hood. Other than that, you're stuck there. You can't. You're not going to college. Who's fucking who's saving up the money for that? We're struggling over here. We can't even. We're on fucking food stamps. Forget college. And then
Oh,
you add the top on of the fact that like with like these communities, a lot of the gang culture, it stops people from going to school because of the fact that when you get involved with this shit, then you start having enemies and stuff like that. People start getting worried about, oh, you know, I don't want to go to school because I don't want to see my enemies over there or whatnot. Like, and it creates a system where it's incredibly hard to get out of. It's not
well,
like,
it sounds like we should just get rid of gangs. Then. Get rid of gangs, and life will be good.
well, the real solution to doing that is by providing resources for people to remove themselves from that lifestyle. Policing is not a resource for people to remove themselves from that lifestyle. It actually just furthers it because all the police can do is lock you up and give you a criminal record. They can't do shit
What
else for you.
resources? What resources are they not getting?
How about access to jobs? Federal
They
one
have
thing
it.
that how about access to education? Affirmative action
They
was,
have it.
huh?
Actually, it's easier for a minority to get into a school than it is for a non-minority. So that's that's easier there.
Well, what are you talking about?
It's easier to get a job as a minority.
What are you talking about?
So
Because of what? Why? Why is it easier?
affirmative action.
Oh, so like progressive policies that are
Hmm.
actually like so like things that you admit are actually helping with these things. There's,
No, they're not helping. They're making it worse.
you just said it's easier. It makes it easier.
Yeah, it makes it easier for them.
Okay, so like these are you yes. What are the resources that we provide? And getting a job was one of the things that I mentioned. Getting an education was one of the things that I had mentioned. And those are two things right there that directly provide those things. And you
So
admitted
then
that.
how come their life isn't better then? There's the resources.
Oh, dude, because we have people that think that this is something that is racist, that is discriminating, and are actively fighting to get rid of these things.
It is actively discriminating, especially against the Asians.
Oh, come on, dude.
Do you want to
We
look
do,
up?
we just we I
You want to
just
look
we
up? You
just
want to
ran
look
through that
up
whole.
college?
But
You want to look up
we
college?
just ran through that whole discussion about where we came to the conclusion that the whole reason that gang culture is not being solved is because we aren't providing the resources. There's a lack
Hmm.
of resources. So
And I just named you two resources that you said we don't have, but we do have.
all right. If they're not working, what resources will?
If they're not, well, why aren't they working?
Let's not focus on that. Let's just move past that. So we can come to a productive answer on what will help, because that's what I'm concerned about. I just want things that will help. I don't want to focus on things that aren't helping. I want to get to the answer here. I want to figure out what's going to
What
help.
I think we should do is instead of um, incentivizing on race or color,
Please don't say merit.
we
Don't say merit.
yeah,
Come on. That is
absolutely.
such a lazy
Why would you?
response
Why would
though.
you not?
That's such a
Why would
lazy
you
response.
want?
That's just, but that you're just
Why would you
giving me
not
the
want that?
average. You're just giving me the average Republican response that avoids all fucking, like, you're not answering the question.
Because when you
You're
keep
not
bringing race
no,
into
merit
everything,
is
you
not a
can't
resource, dude.
separate it.
Dude, merit is not a resource. Okay,
How is it not?
dude.
If
What do
you're
you?
competent, how is it not a resource?
If you're, how do you? No, what we're trying to discuss here is how do you make someone competent?
Yeah, and I started all the way back at school.
But you're saying that
You have to make the
your
schools
reasoning is
work.
circular. You're saying that we should be giving resources to the people that are competent. But the whole issue is that we're trying to make
No.
the people that are not competent competent.
I don't agree with giving resources at all. I think everybody should have to do it on their own merit. Everybody. No handouts from anything, from
So
anywhere.
then you don't want to. Then you're not proposing any solution to the problem. You acknowledge that the problem exists, but you're not proposing any solution to the problem.
Well,
How do we
I
fix?
guess one solution that I guess we could do is for trying to think how I would word it. Just for regular jobs, you know, um, I really don't know where you would start. I don't think there's any laws that you could make that wouldn't be racist one way or the other. Um,
It's not racist
so,
by acknowledging that certain groups of people have been economically disenfranchised and giving those people resources.
but then if you're discriminating against
Then
another
you're
race,
just saying no, but you're
then
not
I mean that's discrimination
no, but
either way.
here's what you're saying. Like you're basically saying that if we provide any resources to any group of people that has been disenfranchised, that we acknowledge has been discriminated against and disenfranchised, that is racist, which is not whatsoever. Being racist is doing something that is negatively impacting a race. But giving somebody like like you're not negatively impacting another race by making up for past discrimination. That's not being racist towards white people because you're making up to black people for shit that has been done to them. In that, if we abide by that logic, then no reparations will ever be given out, or any rectification for any past racial injustices by any means.
Well, no, there should be no reparations. Why would there be reparations?
Why did we? So you disagree that we should give reparations to the Indians, like the Native Americans?
No, I didn't
You
do anything.
well, we did that,
I didn't. I didn't own any slaves. I didn't kill any Indians.
right? But you benefited by white people coming over to this country. Christopher Columbus. You
Oh,
if
because I have was happened to be born somewhere, I owe somebody something.
well, no, you benefited from
So
Christopher
because I was
Columbus.
born somewhere,
You you
I
benefit.
owe somebody.
Let me finish here. You
Okay,
benefited
sorry.
from basically the oppression of the Native Americans indirectly, right? You didn't directly do anything, obviously. I didn't do nothing, you didn't do nothing directly. But because we are here and we are the byproduct of, the oppression from we basically we overthrew the Native Americans, right? They were here, we came and we overthrew them because we were more technologically advanced, okay? And all we did is we gave that we like even in just like giving we all we did was we sectioned off a little territory for them and said, here, you can have this. Like
Mhm.
I don't think that that's necessarily fair. Like we benefited from that. Like we are a byproduct of that because the U.S. government still exists to this day, and they are the direct descendants of the people who did that. Not you, but the government is.
Mhm. So if we want to go back to that, so then which ones should be benefiting?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you had the Blackfoot that took land from the Cherokee. You had Cherokee that took land from the Braves. Then you had the wars that happened even before that through the Aztecs, through the
Well,
Mayans. I mean,
anyone
I mean,
that
how far back are we going to have to go back to continually say, "Oh, I'm sorry, somebody did something to you"?
well, a lot of them are extinct. There's only a few remaining Native American tribes out there now. I mean, we've already given them their reparations. But I'm just saying, if we apply the logic of giving out reparations to certain groups as racist, then according to that logic, then we should have never did that. But I don't think that that was racist because we made up for something that we did to them. Just like I don't think it would be racist to give reparations to black people for making up for the racial laws that we did to fucking discriminate and do. Come, I mean, I don't even have to explain. I mean, like we've done plenty of things to, you
So
know.
you just said earlier that I didn't do anything directly, right?
Hmm. Yeah, not you
So
directly.
then why should I be directly affected now?
It's not you who is targeted to be affected. There's nobody to be affected, right?
Well, if they're going to give reparations to somebody, the money has
Mhm.
to come from somewhere. The government doesn't make its own money; it
Right,
gets
but
its
it
money
would
from
it would
taxes.
come from everyone. It wouldn't just come from white people.
Yeah, but like I just said, you said I didn't do anything directly, so why am I directly being affected then?
Well, because you have to pay taxes, and this is the government. You
Exactly.
you benefit from the
Yeah.
government. You take benefits from the government, right? You benefit from protection from the government, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so yes, you do benefit. So right, so the you have to pay for the government's anything that the government does, anything the government fucks up, you got to pay for that, and that
Yeah.
includes.
Exactly. And that's
Okay,
why
perfect.
we to get
So
rid of it.
what? Get rid of what? The government?
The government.
Oh, this fucking guy. Shit, if you want to go the anarchist route, we can go there.
I just figured I'd throw a little humor in. It's got a little
Nah, it's
we
all
were
good.
getting a little intense there for a minute, so
No, it's all good. I like it's fun to get intense. Like it's all in the spirit of the debate. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no
yeah,
personal qualms with you.
yeah.
It's
I
just,
don't take anything personal,
and I
so
think it does add to the quality of the debate. You know, because
yeah.
when we get into there, we're able to like rapid fire throw shit at each other. You know what I'm saying? And it's good for critical thinking, basically.
Yeah, yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. So,
But
let's see here. Trying to think. I knew that there was one more point that I wanted to go over, but I can't remember what it was. Maybe I'll pull up my notes. That might help.
so I mean, what is your stance on? I want to just get a basis on like some of your different. I mean, I know you're a Republican, right? But
Hmm.
no, you're
I'm a constitutional Republican.
okay.
Um, I believe the Constitution is what we should apply everything to.
Oh, well then perfect. Then don't you get mad at when Trump violates the Constitution?
Um, like what? What did he violate?
Oh, dude, I can here. Let me just pull up the list. I know there's multiple things. Defiance of the courts. So one of the things actually was with that. I think there was a judge that ordered that he turned the fucking planes around, and he was like, they were like, "Oh, we're over international waters. Sorry, can't do that." And then fucking, I think JD Vance was like we don't even have to. And before that, he was like challenging the courts a lot, saying that the 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 president doesn't really have to abide by court orders or some shit like that. It was some stupid shit. Uh, but let
Do you
me
know what
see.
the three branches of government are?
Yeah, legislative, judicial, and executive.
Okay. So, who's the head of the executive?
The president.
Okay. So, if the president is the head of the executive, which means he's the head of the judicial and he's the head of, um, or well, not the head of the judicial or anything. He's just the head of the executive. But why should a judge be able to overrule the president?
Because so this gets to, it's funny that you mentioned the three different branches because they are the other branch of the government who makes rulings
Yes, but
on
they
what
can't.
is legal and what is not.
Now you realize that judicial isn't voted in.
It doesn't
We voted
matter.
them.
It doesn't matter
We
though.
voted the president in.
It doesn't matter though. They are the branch of the government that decides what is legal and what is not.
Hmm.
And they decided
Yes,
that
that's
Trump's
that's the
actions
that's
were not
supreme.
legal.
That's Supreme Court, right? Not just a federal judge. That's Supreme Court rulings, though.
It's the
Not just the
entire.
ranking
It's no,
of
no, hold
judge.
on, hold on. But it's the no. That's not true. It's the entire judiciary branch. If he wants to bring it up to the Supreme Court, he does that through the appellate process, which he did not do that. He defied the order. You can't do that. You can appeal it and take it up to the Supreme Court, but that's not what he
Were
did.
you just as were you just as outraged when Biden overstepped and got rid of all the student debt?
What did he do?
When
What?
he defied the Supreme Court ruling that said no, you can't do it, and he said, "I'm going to do it anyways." Were you just as mad?
Honestly, no. But I
Oh,
do
double
accept that
standard.
if the Supreme Court ruled that he shouldn't have did that, then sure you could say that he was violating the order, and I don't think that he should violate the court's order. But it was a good cause. I mean, come on, student loans are fucking predatory as fuck.
So as long as it's a good cause, it's okay to violate it.
No, it's not. Well,
Well, that's what you just
hold
said.
on. Well, actually, I look at it from a moral approach, right? Because morals dictate laws. Laws do not dictate morals, right? So just because like we decide what is the law based off of our morals, right? We decide what is what should be standardized morally basically across the entire, fucking jurisdiction or whatnot, right? So,
Hmm.
like, when I say that it is a good cause, so it shouldn't have been ordered by the judge to be stopped. But since it was technically, sure, yeah, it was illegal, but I don't think that it should be illegal because I don't think
Well,
that
I don't think the judge should have been able to do what he did. So I have Trump's back on this,
you can say
and
that
you have
all you
mine.
want, but you should definitely admit that Trump did violate the court's order, and that is not good. And now I also would admit that Joe Biden not abiding by the courts is not good. But let's look at the two different circumstances of what these presidents are doing. One wants to get rid of student loan debt, right? And the other wants to fucking deport people out of the country and put them in fucking Venezuela. I'll fucking basically if I'm just gonna call it fucking Alcatraz or fucking Auschwitz. I'm just gonna call it that just for quick because it's fucking just as horrifying. I don't know, Auschwitz is a lot worse, but uh, getting besides that, if we look at like these are two different things. These are totally two widely different things. One guy wants to fucking harm people. The other guy wants to just fucking get rid of people's debt. And but the funny thing is that one of these guys is saying America first, while the other one is actually putting America first. I don't want my. What about
How
me
how
saying?
was
What about
how
me?
was canceling student debt putting America first?
These are American students, so you're not. These are people in America. We're not fucking paying off student debt for people fucking going to fucking global or out of the nation. We're not paying for that. We're paying for student debt within the nation for people that are
Where do
was
you
not.
where do you think the money came from?
Hmm?
Where do you think the money came from to pay
What do you
for it?
mean? The
Well, it's
money,
not like he can just be like, oh, well, now that money's just gone. It had to get paid
the
for.
taxpayers,
Hmm.
right? Now, all right. So,
So for the few people that went to college and didn't pay their loans, the people that did go to college and pay their loans now have to pay their loans too.
yeah, I've heard
That
this
sounds like
argument before.
that sounds a little bit worse to me than somebody trying to keep our country safe.
Okay, well, what about me who says that I don't want my tax dollars going towards, removing people from the country that I believe actually benefit the country because they provide a lot of uh, labor and they provide a lot of, they create a lot of businesses actually. I don't know if you know that, like, a lot of the landscaping fucking market is dominated by immigrants. They got so many businesses. They run the show on that shit, and they do a good
Hmm.
fucking job. They do a lot of
Hmm.
laborers fucking jobs that a lot of fucking Americans don't want to do. A lot of the native born Americans want to like
Do you know why Americans won't do them?
because we are geared to professions for things like higher education, like software engineering and stuff
No,
like that. We're more of
no,
a we are a consumer uh m- market per se, not a
no. The reason
producing.
Americans aren't doing those low income jobs is because that's what they are. Is they're low income jobs. They're not going to work for $5 an hour.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
also the
you
case.
get
Yeah,
rid of
because these
you get
higher
rid of these people that are sucking our land of the low scraps. That means that our lower income citizens don't get. You get those people out, and now all of a sudden you have to start paying people more.
you know what you could also do to force them to start paying more? Make all of those people citizens. Immediately you have to start paying them more.
No,
Yep,
no,
yep. Immediately you have to start paying them
no way.
more. Yes, because then you fall under state minimum wage laws. You can underpay an illegal citizen all you want, and you can exploit them for work too.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, but if we
but you
could
can't do that.
prosecute
You can't do
businesses
that
that
to a
do that,
citizen. So just make all those people citizens, and they get all the protections that come with it. And they
No,
and
because they don't assimilate.
instead of creating all these job vacancies that are a lot of farmers are saying that they literally cannot function without these immigrants working for them. That instead of creating all of this
No,
shortage and
they could function. They just don't want to have to pay the money to function.
what are you talking about?
Like when farmers have to pay people more, it cuts into
Oh yeah,
their profit.
yeah, of course.
So why would I want to pay an American that's going to not only want a high wage, but is also going to want health benefits, going to want, 401k, going to want all this stuff when they could just hire, the illegal that came across the border for, $2 an hour.
What if you just couldn't hire that illegal because you can make like all the majority of immigrants are legal because it was easy for them to immigrate legally.
Well, like I said, I'm all for legal immigration, but I'm not for letting somebody break the law and then giving them a reward for breaking the law.
We're not just giving them a reward; we're giving them a chance.
No, you're giving them a reward by saying, okay, you came across the border illegally. We told you not to, but hey, we're just going to go ahead and let you come in.
Well,
That's a reward.
hold on. There's many other problems that you can fix if you give somebody citizenship. One of the big talking points that I hear about people worried about legal immigration is they say, "Oh, they're doing a bunch of sex trafficking." Well, that's true. Well, guess what? If you want to fix that, the easiest way to do that would be allow these people who are being sex trafficked to go to the police to report these crimes to them. Because you want to know why they can't go right now? Because they'll be fucking deported. Most immigrants do not call the police to report crimes because they're afraid of being deported.
I have an actual surefire way to just stop sex trafficking. You just ban pornography
No, that is
and
not a
sex work.
surefire way. That is not a surefire way, not by any means.
Sure it is.
No, it's not.
Sure it is. If you make it illegal and you prosecute people to the fullest extent, pretty soon they're not going to do it.
Well, if you're
It's
a
not worth it
constitutionalist,
anymore.
you know the Supreme Court has ruled that porn is legal because the government has the right to uh, does not have the right to determine what a man does or reads or watches in his own home, so far as it's not harmful to anyone. Obviously, you can't fucking
Well,
watch
I see a
anything.
lot of harm. I see a lot of harm out of it. So when there's a lot of harm, you're allowed to stop something.
I mean, you could always like try, but I don't think that we I don't think that it should be banned. No, not at all. I think that a lot of that comes from religious values, and when you start
Yeah,
push,
but at the
we
same
don't live in a
time, when you look at
theocracy
it,
though. Like you're all for you know preventing government overreach, except for when it comes to personal things that have nothing to do with you know nobody
no, it
gets
has
harmed.
everything to do with the population. When kids are being sex trafficked, yeah, it harms a lot of people.
But that has nothing to do with you can't you can't create like the people that are sex trafficked. That's not who's like being. They're not like using them for like pornography. But you know
Okay,
how
so
big the
say
porn
that they have
industry is.
kids.
You know how big the
Yeah, it's
industry is.
gigantic. You know how
Exactly,
big it was when I was a kid?
a lot smaller.
Yeah, you could only find it in magazines.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
guess
like
what?
we
Not nearly as
don't.
much sex trafficking back then.
Huh? We had no.
I mean, no. I'm not saying that there was no. I said it was a lot less.
Okay, and there was a point where
As soon
there.
as you started putting all of these production companies into effect, that started going everywhere. That's when the sex trafficking exploded in the 90s.
No, I disagree that that's correlated to porn. I don't
sex
even
work.
know. Well, my main concern is that people
But
that are
that's not
sex
even the main
trafficked.
focus that I care about.
Yeah, my main concern is that people that are being sex trafficked can't even report that they're being sex trafficked.
Well, it'd be kind of hard for them to.
Right. So like the easiest way to like make it so that they can report those crimes would be to like make them a citizen, or at least make it so that the police can't fucking deport them for fucking reporting a crime and give their fucking information to ICE and shit, or just
Well, I don't think in a situation
allow
like
for like
that they would
anonymous
get
tips
deported.
and shit like that.
I
What
don't
they
think
do?
that I don't think that the same stipulations would follow if somebody like got sex trafficked over here from Russia or something. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure that the government wouldn't harass the one that was sex trafficked. They'd probably do everything they could to either get her back to her family or something.
Well,
I really,
the
I'm
main
pretty sure they're
issue is
not going to
that
punish her.
no, the main issue is that like people don't have that perception, right? Because there's no safeguards, there's no protections, there's no guarantee, right? That you won't be, there won't be somebody coming after you. If you're a U.S. citizen, there's a guarantee that if you didn't do nothing wrong, no, you're good, you're good. Like the people are scared because they know that they're here illegally, but they need help.
Hmm.
So like the easiest, like all they need is they're just missing papers. Like come on, like just give them the fucking paper. Like this is all over stupid fucking papers. Like just having
Well,
somebody on record.
it's more than just papers though.
It really
There's
no
more
was
to there's more to being in a country than just having papers that say you're allowed to be in that country.
not really. No, you just along with that,
Yeah,
all that comes with it is you get protection. You get protections and rights.
yeah, but you are supposed to have duties as well. It's not just supposed to be everybody has a duty to you. It's you have a duty to the country as well.
To do what?
Um, well, for one, work, you know, uh, uh, um, contribute to society,
Okay.
um, learn their language for one, so that we don't have to try and figure out your fucking language. And you know,
Uh,
you have to assimilate into and accept our culture.
what is our
Not we
culture?
have to accept
What is
your
our
culture.
culture?
Um, could be numerous. I mean, I think cultures change. Um, you know, kind of not only state to state, but even community to community.
But
I
you
don't
agree
think
that they
that.
change, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
So then why do they have to assimilate?
absolutely.
Why can't they just change our culture if cultures change?
Because why should I have to change my culture to adapt to somebody that moved here?
That's you don't have to do it. That's just how it happens. The cultures just change. You're just against changing it in that type of way. Well, why are you against their culture in particularly?
Oh, I'm not against their culture. They can have their culture as well, but
Well,
they need to assimilate into our culture.
why can't a part of their assimilation? Well, a pure assimilation actually would not be replacing their culture with ours, but mixing the two. That would be pure assimilation because then you're actually integrating into you're like there's integrating into a culture should be about adding your things to the culture and taking away the best things from that culture that you like. It shouldn't be,
Hmm.
oh, I have to look at how that culture is and I need to follow it by the T. No, it should be you change the culture with your culture, and that's how cultures change. That's how all cultures have changed by people adding things from their culture in the other cultures. Most of the things from our culture, pretty much everything from like American culture, well, not everything, but a lot of things come from other countries that you wouldn't even think. I could look up a few. I don't know any off the top of my head, but I know that there's a lot of things from our culture that are an amalgamation of other cultures and wouldn't be a part of American culture if it wasn't for people having different perspectives and different
And do
cultures.
you know how all of those cultures assimilated into each other?
Well, like, all right, I got one that I can think of off the top of my head.
I can I can tell you exactly how it all happened.
well, let's just look at rock and roll, for example. If you want to talk
Well,
about,
let's go back even further.
go ahead.
Well, before rock and roll.
Okay.
Okay, so in New York in the mid 1700s, um, there were gangs all over New York that were fighting for dominance in New York. There was five main families in New York that were regularly going to battle with each other, and through each battle, each one, um, gained a little bit of territory. Each one gained some more people, more followers, and that's when assimilation started, and that continued from that point on through about right as the 49ers were coming to an end in California. Um, and through those almost 100 years, we saw a great influx of people coming through Ellis Island. We had a huge, great flux of people coming in, even from the northern border through Canada, that were coming across through Russia and stuff. And all of those people were able to get along together and create a culture that worked for them. Okay. Well, now that you have this open border, and it's not just the last 4 years, it's gone way back, well before the last 4 years, where we're just allowing people to come in here unregulated. They're not doing the same things that they did back during those times where they were actually trying to um, make our country better and make their lives better as well. Now they come here expecting things and expecting us to take care of them, and that's not the way it is. That's not the way it should be.
Expecting us to take care of them. I don't think that they expect us to take care of them. I think that they expect, the same dignity that any other human is provided to.
Hmm.
So I think that they just expect to be treated equally in the land of the free, not the land of the unequal.
Hmm.
So like I think that like a lot of immigrants come over here and they create a lot of jobs. They bring a lot of innovation. Like we've benefited direct. Like America was built on the backs of immigrants. Yes, and like most of our like I you could just look back at history, and like a lot of our historical uh breakthroughs, I guess you could say, like in like business, you know, where a lot of things were because of immigrants. Like let me just look up a few because I can't think of any off the top of my head. I'm high out of my mind. All right. Oh yeah, here we go. You got Albert Einstein, immigrant from Germany. Nikola
Hmm.
Tesla, immigrant from Austria.
Hmm.
John von Neumann. I think he's also yeah, he's a scientist
Hmm.
from Hungary.
What do they
Jewish
all have in
immigrants.
common, though?
Hold on. These are I'm listing the different types. These are European immigrants. Uh, Jewish immigrants. Uh, we got a lot. We're involved in the Manhattan Project. I don't know how beneficial that was. Uh, but Sergey Brin co-founded Google. He's from Russia.
You know what they all have in common though?
What?
They're all legal. They're all legal citizens.
Wasn't Elon Musk an illegal immigrant?
No, he's not. Elon Musk has been a citizen for over 20 years.
Yeah, well, that's great. They can be all legal, but that's only because like immigration has like there was different levels of immigration. They used to
Hmm.
have like Ellis Island where you could just pull up and get citizen right there, get your citizenship right there on the spot. Why can't we have that today?
Well, we could.
Well, that's what I want. This is the exact thing I want.
We could, but we would still vet them the same as
That's
we did
fine, but
back then.
I
I
want
want when
them.
they came to Ellis Island, they didn't just automatically come into the
That's
country. There was a
fine, but
lot that
they
was
but
sent
they
back.
but they did all that shit on the spot. They didn't. It wasn't like a fucking 20-year wait process. All right, that's
Hmm.
what I want. If I want somebody if they want to be able
And
to
at
come
that
as
time, we were also trying to grow our country. Our
okay, yeah,
country's
we should
already
still be
grown.
trying to do that.
Yeah, I told you how to do that
Okay,
last
but
time we talked.
I also told you how to do that. Just fucking make another Ellis Island.
Just stop killing all the babies. We
Oh,
got
this
45
fucking
million
guy.
more people.
Well, uh, abortion actually would solve the overpopulation problem because over half of all abortions are unplanned abortions. And if half of or half of, did I say abortions? I said, I meant to say pregnancies. Yeah, half of all pregnancies are unplanned. And if all those were abortions, we would be growing at an actual sustainable rate.
Yeah,
But
you know how to not accidentally get pregnant and need an abortion.
what? Wear a condom?
Just don't abstinence. Wait till you're married.
That don't help you. Just because you're married doesn't mean you're trying to have a kid.
Yeah, but usually people that are married together are usually trying to start a family.
So you're telling
And
me I have to wait my entire life until I decide today's the day I want to have a kid, and
no, I'm not
that's
telling you that's what you have to do. I'm just saying that that's one surefire way to make sure. I'm not telling anybody that's what they have to do. I mean,
okay.
I
So
didn't,
let's say people don't do
but
that. Let's say people don't do
that's
that, and
just
then they have
one
an unplanned.
surefire way.
Okay, but yeah, but you're giving an unreasonable. You admit it's an unreasonable expectation. You're like, oh, I would never tell you to do that.
There's people that do it all the time.
Yeah, and they're fucking ridiculous. I don't know how those people are psychopaths. I don't know how they fucking live. I really don't. I don't. They're fucking robots. Like
But I
I'm
mean,
sure, like people
there's
aren't
only
perfect,
one conclusion to come out of sex is babies come out of sex.
but not every time, right? Like I don't fucking like I don't worry about that when I don't fucking like I don't wear a condom, like I don't fucking do birth control, like fuck that shit. But like I don't I just pull out. And like
But
sure, there's a
there's
risk.
pre cum,
Yeah, I know. I
there's
know. I know. I assume this risk, right? But in the event that I get her pregnant, I want the option for me to be like, "Oh fuck, I'm not ready for that to happen." But you want that to be illegal.
yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
that.
It should not be birth control.
Fuck that.
Abortion is not birth control.
It's but getting a girl pregnant shouldn't be like oh fuck, I'm stuck with this financial commitment for the next 18 years of my life.
Well, and that's the other portion of it is I think that if women are allowed to have the abortions, men should be able to opt out.
What do you mean?
If women are allowed to go and have abortions, men shouldn't have to pay child support.
If women are allowed to have abortions, then
Yeah,
men shouldn't pay any child support?
right.
I don't know about
Because
that.
a woman can just say, "Well, I don't want it." Okay, it's done, gone, right?
I understand that perspective as a guy. I get that perspective, but child support, I don't know, dude. Like it is kind of necessary sometimes, sometimes. But
Sometimes, but
I do get the argument. I completely understand the argument that like a guy should be able. I do agree with the sentiment that guys should be able to opt out, but
yeah,
there needs to be some sort of way to support that child because at the end of the day, the child will experience a harder time financially, right?
uh-huh. Now,
So
what if the man doesn't want it though?
okay, so that would be my question to you. So if a guy is able to opt out, right? How do you financially provide for that child? How do you make up for? Did you just say fuck that child?
I mean, that's the kind of risk you take, right?
Well, then why can't I just say fuck that child from being born?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you want to be able to say that, then we have to be able to say that on the other end.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, sure. Yeah, if yeah,
I
I
mean,
see
do
what
I
you're
think
saying.
that that's right? Probably not. But I'm just saying that there's no option for a man, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I agree. I can agree to that. Like if it is legal, then the man should. I think there should be avenues for men to
Hmm.
approach that. I don't think that it should just be, outright, you know, just. I think it should just be like regulated. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just to enforce some sort of safeguards. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But I do agree with that sentiment. Yeah, I can agree to that. And I do have to concede to your point that you made the other time we debated about I looked it up about the offices in Facebook or them deleting comments and shit. That was true.
Hmm.
That was true.
Yeah.
They did do that.
Yeah.
So I have to concede that point. And I don't so like I condemn that. But look, like, again, this goes back to it was a good cause, but I don't agree with the methodology, right?
Hmm.
Like I support what they were trying to do, but I don't agree with how they did it.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, if you support it, then you were supporting them censoring free speech.
No, well, I was supporting like I don't
Like you
like
just got
yes,
done
it's
saying
a
that that guy that got deported was using free speech. You didn't want us to do anything to him, but now that you see that stuff was actually happening, you're like, well, I see that it was happening, but it was good.
well, it's just because
Like,
we know like the so the difference is right is like I am for like censorship of like things that are objectively like not to an extreme extent obviously, right, but
mm-hmm,
like straight up false misinformation, misleading, like meant to mislead, like predatory type information. But when it comes to like the Palestine thing, like that's a subjective, you know, this is an ongoing debate still, right? This isn't something that can be objectively determined as, false. We can sit here and argue all day over Hamas and fucking Israel or whatnot. But
mm-hmm,
if you're saying something like a vaccine is ineffective when The facts are the objective facts. Like we could test it or something like that. We could test the effectiveness. If the facts are that that's not true, I mean, I I
Well,
I think that there is
let's
a
test that
need.
theory.
Like this goes back to
Let's
your
test that theory.
but this goes back to
How
your
many?
argument before of like I this I'm kind of repeating what you said where you said like do I think it's fair? No. But do I think it's yet necessary? Yes. Like this is the same sort of thing for me, right? Like I don't think it's fair, but I do think it's necessary for us to regulate this sort of misinformation.
So was it misinformation then when we said that the vaccine didn't stop you from getting COVID? Was that
Who
misinformation
said
then?
that?
That's what I got censored for.
You got censored for that?
Uh huh.
I mean, maybe it just deleted your comment because you said the word vaccine. I don't think it was because of what you said.
No, I got a violation for misinformation.
Hmm. Well, I mean, what did you say?
I said that the vaccine didn't stop the transmission or prevent you from getting COVID, which was proven to be true because they came out and said you have to get this shot and it'll stop it. Oh, well, you
Well,
need a booster now.
no, no.
Oh,
Well,
wait, you need another
do you
booster.
know how
Oh, you need one
vaccines
more.
work? Well, hold on. Do you know how vaccines work?
Yeah, none of the COVID vaccine was never tested to its
No,
efficacy.
no, no. I'm saying, do you know fundamentally how it works?
Um, like the process that they go through to test the vaccine.
No, like how it stops you from getting it
Um,
after you take the vaccine. How it stops you from.
no. I mean I don't know down to
So
the
the
biomolecular level.
it's an easy way to I can literally explain it to you very easily. All they're doing is giving you a genetically modified version of the virus that stays in your body. That's it. That's all it is.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
the way it stops you from getting the disease is because your body already has the virus basically. It's already dealt with it, right? It
So then,
has
which is better? Which is a better immunity, natural immunity or created immunity?
no, but it is natural, right? Because they're forcing your body to get it, but it's like a non harm. You that's why people were getting sick a lot, like when you would get the
Yeah,
vaccine,
that's
is
why
because
you
you
get sick when you get the flu vaccine.
exactly because
Yeah.
they're giving you the flu basically, but it's a
Hmm.
modified version of the flu,
Hmm.
right? It's meant to
Yeah.
stop you from getting it, right? Now, but the
But don't you
reason
remember what they were saying though?
what?
They were saying get the vaccine and you stop it. And then remember it was it's all the unvaccinated people. They're the ones that are getting us sick. Remember?
All the
How could
vaccinated what?
unvaccinated people get vaccinated people sick?
Unvaccinated? Yeah, because you can have a different strain, right? So the virus, there's different strains of the virus, right?
Hmm.
They test you for like a couple of them when you go get a test. I remember that they were testing like for 5 different strains. The most popular one that a lot of people were SARS-19, right? But there was different strains. Those unvaccinated people can get those vaccinated people sick because if you don't like eradicate the virus basically it increases the chances that it will mutate because there's so many people that have it increases the chances that one of those people will get a mutated version that will spread to those unvaccinated people.
So now you're saying something that not even the scientists said.
This
Now
is
you're
I mean
saying that each one has to be inoculated individually because there's different strains.
I mean this is just true though. There's different strains.
Okay. Um, I don't think you have to get inoculated for each different strain in order to be inoculated from
Let me
the
look
main
up a
virus.
little bit of information about the vaccine.
I wasn't even trying to talk about this stuff. I was just trying to talk about censorship, and then we ended up here.
I know we'll be covering all the topics. Yeah, so no, it doesn't cover all the strains of the virus. It is designated to target specific variants, and its effectiveness may vary depending on how much the virus mutates. Literally, yeah, exactly what I said. The original vaccine, Pfizer, Moderna, and J&J, were based on the original Wuhan strain of the virus. The updated bivalent boosters introduced in 2022 targeted both the original strain and Omicron BA.4 slash BA.5 variants. Exactly. So that's exactly why they had the boosters, was to target the other strains. Boom. There's your answer.
Hmm.
I know. Mind fucked. Blew your mind. This is what the scientists were saying.
Yeah. So let's see what was.
And let me touch on how they tested it, right? Because
Uh-huh.
it was approved, right? They changed the way that they did the process, right? I wish I could
Hmm.
visualize this for you. Oh, I can on my screen with Discord. We can do the whiteboard thing. I have to show you. Let me see if I can do it. Let me try to pull it up. Whiteboard, hell yeah. Launch. Make this full screen. All right. How do I get in? Are you able to see the whiteboard?
Oh. Let me go back to Discord. Second. Yep, I see it.
Okay.
Do I have to click on it?
No, as long as you see it, I'm gonna edit it, and I'm gonna try to like visualize. I'm just gonna try to draw it out for you. I wanna, I wanna stop the pop out though, so I can go back. Oh, like this. Oh fuck. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna do this full screen. Okay. All right. Now I can draw. Okay. Are you able to see it again?
Yep.
All right. So the way that they did the virus, right? So usually, so imagine that this is the process right here. So do a line, right? So it usually comes in, it's three stages, right? It's
Hmm.
like this one is like I don't know, initial testing. We'll just call that T. Uh, okay, thank you. This one is like testing on like mice or something. So, or I don't know, fucking animals. I'm just making this shit up. I don't know the actual fucking steps. And then this one would be like fucking. I know the last one would be like human trials, right?
Hmm.
So like, let's say these are the steps for approval. A plus.
Yeah.
That's how you get approved, right? This is the
Yep.
testing process. What they did was they did it like this, right? To speed it up, since we're in a pandemic, I don't have the video on me, but this is how I remember them explaining it. Basically, it was like this. So this would have been the
Yeah,
T.
that's the rapid testing process. Yeah,
Yeah, right. But
yeah, because
there's
you're not going to finish completely with one before you start the next one.
right. So like, but the
Yeah,
thing is like they can do all these things at the same time. There's no problem as long as they're ending off with the human trials right here. You know what I'm saying? That's the last step, right? So all they did was they ended because they would have had this would have took like fucking let's say 10 months. This would have took fucking 10 months, and this would have took 10 months, right? But they wouldn't have been able to start this until they did this, right? But by allowing them to start this and this at the same time, it allowed them to get to these human trials a lot faster. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it was probably more like this. You know what I'm saying? Starts there,
yeah.
but so like, there's nothing really wrong with how they did this. It's just more efficient, honestly. Honestly, I
Well,
think.
there actually was a big problem with the way they did it, is because when they were doing those different stages, they were saying that the testing was completely done, but yet it wasn't done, and they were finding out as they went through each one that they had to keep changing stuff, and that's why you had to keep getting different boosters.
I mean, as far as I know, the boosters from what I just read off was just for the different strains, and obviously to target the initial strain also. But I mean, yeah, it was like there was a reason for this stuff. It's not like it was just. What do you think it was for?
With
You
the
think?
vaccine,
Yeah, you think? Do you think that this was just like for big pharma to get their check and sell them the
yeah,
vaccine?
yeah, a little bit.
I mean,
I mean, it definitely. I mean, I'm not going to say that COVID wasn't a thing, because obviously it was. My wife's best friend died. Um, but I think that it wasn't as bad as they made it seem. It was going to be worse for older people than it was for younger people. It was going to be worse for people that had comorbidities. Um,
well,
but
that's a lot of
like
what they
I
were
got it.
saying.
I huh?
That's a lot of what they were saying. Was that it was going to be bad for old
No, no, they
people?
were saying everybody was getting it. Remember, they closed down schools because
Yeah,
kids
people were.
were
Yeah, people
gonna
were
die
getting it.
from it.
But yeah, that was the reason they were doing that was for transmission problems. Like they did, it was so that those young people that got it didn't transmit it to the old people. That was the whole reason. It wasn't so that those people wouldn't die. It was so that they wouldn't transmit it. That was the whole
Well,
point of
then
the
why were they forcing kids to get the vaccine then?
so they
They already
wouldn't
knew it.
transmit it. It was
But
all about
you.
transmission.
It didn't stop you from getting it or passing it. So what was the point?
It does though. It does it decreases the
It
likelihood of you
didn't.
getting it. It's not a foolproof method, no, because there's other strains, right? Like I said, and there's other technical reasons that I don't know off the top of my head, but it is effective. There's empirical proof that shows that vaccines are extremely effective at reducing the likelihood of you contracting the virus again. It's the same. You're just building an immune or an immunity. Like there's nothing, and it is natural. Just because you force this on your body doesn't make it any less natural. Everything is natural.
Well, no, it's actually it's developed in a lab,
Yeah, but
literally.
that doesn't make it any less natural though.
Well, it does, because they're doing extra things to it to make it so that it attacks your body in a way that your body reacts, so
What
that it
exactly
can
do they do?
build
They
the
do that.
immunity.
What exactly do they do that makes it unnatural?
Well, they're introducing the virus to you, for one.
Okay, and you could get the virus at any other time. And the only thing, the best case argument that you could make that it's not natural is them modifying the genetics. But
Well, yeah,
That's the only thing.
Uh,
So that's just genetic modifying. Like that, the only other, but it's not unnatural to force an immune response onto your body. You did like your body has no idea that that's not n- quote unquote natural or not.
yeah. I'm
Because
not
your
saying that I'm against vaccines or anything because I like my kids totally vaccinated. I'm vaccinated, just not with the COVID stuff. But you
I'm
know,
not vaccinated, but I'm not against the vaccines. I just haven't gotten the vaccine.
yeah.
But
But I just I'm not for um you know the government forcing you to do something like that. Though I think that was an overreach.
well, you're for man. You do you think that like you know the government forcing you to get a vaccine to stop people from dying is I mean not everyone that watches porn is sex trafficking. There's a lot of people that just casually just do that shit,
Hmm.
and they're very productive members of society. That there's nothing wrong with them. What's next? Are we gonna stop people from jerking off?
Well, I don't know how you can do that,
You
but
actually can. You actually can. You could fucking. There's sodomy laws exist. I mean that or
well,
well
yeah,
you
there
that
are sodomy laws. So
and so that and that those are definitely red states.
hmm.
So I mean like I don't know like if we want to talk about actually like Republican versus Democrat particularly, I don't know if you want to go that route. But like, just look at the differences in the red versus blue states. I mean, I already know what avenue you'll take with you'll talk about fucking Portland, Oregon, or whatever. You'll be like, oh, they're so crime ridden. They have such bad issues with crime. Well, so do red states, right? Red states have their problems with crime too.
Like which one?
Florida, Jacksonville is like a fucking notorious fucking Louisiana. I mean, I
But
don't
you
know
know,
what
Jacksonville's a blue city, right?
is it.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I know that there's a lot of areas in Florida that are fucking. Uh,
yeah. All the heavily crime. I mean, it's just statistics, but the more crime is in the bigger cities, even in the red states, which the bigger cities are blue in the red states.
yeah, like there's a lot like bro, there's gang violence everywhere. There's gang violence in Houston, Texas. You got fucking.
Blue.
Is it?
Yeah,
It's a red state though.
it's
It's
a
a
red state, but it's a very blue city.
I'm just looking at a map right now. I'm trying to
Same
think.
with like Dallas. Um, Fort Worth is starting to turn pretty blue.
What about Atlanta? No, they're blue as fuck.
Atlanta is heavily Democrat.
They're blue as fuck. So what? So what?
Okay, I can tell you why the blue cities have such a problem with crime. It's
It's
because
because
of the
that's
gun-free zone.
those are the gun free zones.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, yeah, I guess you could
because
say
then the
that.
only people that have the guns are the criminals.
Whoa, 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 whoa. That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. You're not a criminal just because you have, like, I don't think that somebody's a criminal just because they have a gun. And a lot of people have guns
Well,
that they shouldn't have just because they want to protect themselves.
Yeah, but when you are a legal concealed carry permit, you have to follow the law. And if the movie theater says you can't have your gun, I cannot carry my gun in there as a card carrier.
Do you go to the movie theater then?
I don't anymore. No,
But are you forced to go to the movie theater? What if you had to be forced to go to the movie theater every day? What if
if
you
I
what
had
if
to
your
be
job
forced,
would yeah, how would you feel if you were forced to go to the movie theater every day?
who's going to force me to go to the movie theater?
I'm just complete hypothetical. There's nobody. I have no answers for who's forcing you. But let's just say that's a part of what you have to do. It's your obligation. You have to be at that movie theater every day. Let's say it's your job or something like that, right? And you
Hmm.
can't lose this job. Uh, Would you how would you feel? Would you eventually one day think about maybe getting a gun? And let's say you're not safe. Let's say it's a very dangerous area, and you're not safe. There's no
Hmm.
guarantees, right? How would you feel? Would you
Hmm.
feel like maybe I'm gonna bring my gun?
I probably would. But in the case that something ever happened, and say I have to discharge my weapon in an area that is not allowed to have weapons, I'm going to go to jail.
How would you feel about that? Do you think that that's right? Do you think you should go to jail, or do you
No,
think you don't think you
no.
should?
If I'm defending, if I'm defending myself or someone else's life, I shouldn't be held criminally liable for anything.
Well, then exactly. So that's exactly why people carry guns illegally in these gun-free zones. There you go. That's your reason.
But they, you're you're saying that they do, but we don't. We don't because we don't want to go to jail because we actually follow the law. We don't want
Right,
to lose
but
our
you just
concealed carry.
but right, but a lot of the like as I was just discussing earlier, there's a lot of kids that go to school or on their way to school, maybe they have to walk by certain group of people, right? They don't have the bus or something, they got to walk, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on that way, they might get robbed, right? And this is just like you being forced to go into that movie theater and it's a very dangerous area. One of those times they're gonna carry a gun, right? This is exactly how it happens. And one of those times when they're carrying their gun, maybe the police pull up on them and they got the gun. You're right about mentioning that this is why there's a lot of crime, because a lot of the crime is gun charges for illegal possession, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is why. This is the case. Is because people feel unsafe, you know, and they want to protect themselves, and because they can't obtain the means to get it legally, and it's a lot easy. It's very easy to get it illegally
Yeah.
because of how restrictive. I'm pro Second Amendment. All right, we need to deregulate that shit. All right, make it easy for people to get guns. I want everyone to have a gun. Put gun. I want the teachers in schools to have a gun on their hip ready. All right, for a school shooter to pop up one day, just waiting for a school shooter to pop up. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm extreme with the Second Amendment. All right, I think
Yeah.
I give everyone a fucking gun. All right, so
Yeah. But along those lines, though, is when you are um, a legal owner, you have to follow the law. And if the law says you can't take your gun somewhere, you can't take it there. Otherwise, you lose your permit.
well, it should be a right, right? Shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should be.
All
But
right.
that's not the way the laws are designed anymore.
I think they should be redesigned. Well, you could agree to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
fuck yeah.
Well,
Let's
well then.
redesign those fucking laws. Fuck those laws.
Well, we agree on that then.
When it comes to guns, I'm as far right as you can get. But everything
All
else,
right.
I'm a leftist. I'm leftist on everything else. The guns are the only fucking thing that I agree with Republicans. Because like 80% of gun crime is from people who have guns illegally.
Hmm.
So like I mean it's obvious like the problem is with you know people not having guns legally. So we need to just have a system where it's easy for somebody to have it should just be right. It should just be right. Fuck that. We need
Yeah,
to be focusing on the reasons why that I like if somebody commits a crime, I think that's a clue for something, some sort of reason why they committed that crime, right? And we need to figure out what
yeah,
that reason is and remove that reason. That's how you
yeah,
stop a crime. The answer to should not be let's fucking lock this person up because that's not rehabilitation. That's just annihilation of somebody's life, you know.
yeah, yeah.
So I think that as far as like you know reform goes in the judicial system, that's the approach we need to take. Fuck locking people up. Let's let's look at the root of the issue. And I most of the time it's usually poverty, right? So if anything can be correlated to poverty, let's fucking fix that, right? Start
Hmm.
give this person resources. If it's something to do with like if we can identify that this person has a mental illness, that needs to be addressed. We need to do more research into mental illness and stuff like that, treatments and whatnot, because we don't have a good understanding
Yeah.
of mental illness,
That
and it's a big
that
problem
was
in our
probably one of
country.
the biggest mistakes of the Reagan administration was closing down the asylums and stuff.
Yeah,
That was
I
insane.
well, I don't think that asylums. See, like we need to take a different approach, right? Well, I think that like obviously I I like I've been in as close as it gets to an asylum, right?
Hmm.
But like they don't fix anything in there, right? There's no attempt to there's no real treatment basically for mental illness, and that's what we need to be focusing on is actual treatment. How do you help
Hmm.
fix someone? Basically, when I was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
in there, like you're just spending it's just like a prison for crazy people, basically. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I think that like if we're gonna you know acknowledge that we need to focus on fixing the problems of what causes, right? How do we help, stop this from further harming somebody's life or somebody else's life, right? Or whether it's crime or mental illness, we need to be looking at what is happening here, what is going on here, and we're not doing it.
Hmm.
Our current solutions are far from the actual answer. Now, I want to relate this back to Trump. This guy cut funding to the NIH, right? And
Hmm.
him and Elon. What do you think about that?
Great.
Great,
Yeah.
great.
What has the NIH done that's been any good in the last 20 years?
Let me tell you, I have the list up. Hold on.
What do you? Let's step back a little bit further. What do you know about Fauci?
Fauci. I know that something about he was fucking something about him and COVID. Trump supporters hate him. Uh, and Trump revoked his fucking security detail or something like that. I don't know. I don't know much
So,
about him.
how old are you?
24.
Okay. Um, so when the AIDS pandemic happened in the 80s, um, Fauci was in charge of that. And guess what he told people?
What?
And he was head of the NIH at that time. He told people that if you had a child in your home and you had AIDS, and that child used the toilet after you, your child was going to get AIDS
Oh
because
yeah,
he
that
was
was a
in the same
lie.
vicinity as you.
Oh, that was a
Okay,
lie. Yeah, I condemn
so
that.
that is the entire reason that we all do not trust Fauci. Since the beginning of his time at the NIH, he has been wrong on everything.
I don't. I mean, I don't know about that. I don't know about you can't just say just because he was wrong about this one thing that makes him wrong about everything. That's some sort of logical fallacy. I don't know the.
No, no. He he has been on the wrong side of every pandemic that has. Well, I guess there really weren't pandemics, but every. Well, I mean, I guess we could consider the AIDS a pandemic.
Well, let me tell you some of these things that the NIH led to, right? The internet. Or wait, no, wait. Was this NIH?
NIH did not invent the
No, no,
internet.
not the internet. No, 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 no. Sorry. I went too far down. The mRNA vaccine technology, HIV, AIDS treatments, cancer treatments, insulin and diabetes treatments. Uh, they developed.
How's insulin doing?
They were the reason that MRIs and CT scans exist. Pacemakers, artificial limbs and prosthetics, along with DARPA for that. Uh,
Hmm.
Flu vaccines, gene therapy, and the Ebola vaccine. Those are
Hmm.
all things that we can say thank you to the NIH for.
No, it wasn't the NIH. It was the people that were in the NIH that were doing the
That's the
research.
NIH.
The NIH
That's
is
the
just a
NIH.
foundation.
Without them having a job at the NIH, they don't do those things.
I'm pretty sure the MR, I can never get it right, mRNA. I'm pretty sure those were done by a single doctor that then went to work at the NIH.
It
So
was
the
NIH
mRNA
funding.
vaccines
It
were.
was it was because of their funding.
Hmm.
They funded it. So we can say thanks to the NIH for that because government funding that was allocated to the development of these innovations.
Do you
Now,
think that we
but
should have? Do you think
no,
we should have a bunch of different facilities and countries that work on, um, you know, viruses and stuff, trying to make them
well,
deadly?
the reason that I mentioned the internet was because I was looking at the list of other government uh like departments that have led to the innovation of you know things that we use every day. That these
Hmm.
are things that are being cut, right? So the internet was created by DARPA, right? At the time, it was ARPANET or some shit like that. Uh, the GPS was initially developed for DARPA, right? Uh, Now used by Google. Touchscreens were developed. Who's that? I don't know. It just says government research for that. It says it lists a couple and the NSF and DOE. Voice assistants. I'm just gonna list them off. Voice assistants, AI and machine learning, fiber optic communication, semiconductors and microchips, quantum computing, cybersecurity, and cloud computing. These are and these are the list goes on. Nuclear power, solar panels, electric car batteries, hydraulic fracking. You could say thanks to the DOE for fracking. So I know you love fracking so much. Uh,
I do love
LED,
my oil.
LED lighting and wind energy, grid, smart grid tech, biofuels and green energy. This is more. NASA is responsible for these ones. Satellite communication, memory foam, water purification. Oh, this is one that I know off the top of my head. You could say thanks to NASA for WD-40. I know you've used that in your life. Uh,
Hmm.
Radiation shielding, engines,
So
supersonic.
now, with all of those things that you've listed off,
Uh
what
huh.
did all of those have to do with health?
Oh, those were just government programs that have led to innovations. Well, if you want to talk about things that have led that are related to health, GPS has been a major innovation that has led to the advancement of The technology for ambulances to be able to reach people at any address at an instant and get directions to there. So that's helped save many lives because it's increased the
Yeah.
efficiency of taking people to the hospital. Let's look at a few others. Hmm. I mean, all of these things, semiconductors and microchips. There's plenty of biotechnology that is only possible because of uh, semiconductors and biochips. Plenty of machines, medical machines, would never work because if we didn't develop a better semiconductors and microchips. Uh, there's plenty of many of these things can correlate back to medical advancements for us. AI and machine learning definitely can help with medical advancements. We can understand more about our genes with that, where we're able to like fucking uh we're like mapping fucking I've seen them fucking map like a quarter of a fly's brains, like all of its different neurons with
Mhm.
some AI algorithms, which is insane. Like imagine it sounds pretty insignificant since it's a quarter of a fly's brain, but it's very significant because like we were able to map like all of the different structures and it helped us understand a lot more about the brain structure. Imagine if one day that AI algorithm could map an entire human brain, right? Now
Mhm.
we understand how fucking consciousness works, right?
Right.
Like this isn't like all of these things are definitely relate back. Cybersecurity
Yeah.
protects your
I think
medical
that
information from being leaked.
yeah, I think some of those things are good, but I mean, I think they still would have happened without the NIH.
They would have happened without the NIH.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that, but they wouldn't have happened without DARPA, the NSF, DOE, or NASA.
Well, yeah. I'm just taking out one of the bodies that really doesn't need to be there. The other ones you gotta have your
Oh,
Department
so
of it.
I mean, would you be fine with pacemakers not existing?
No, those still would have existed.
Oh, that's only because of
The
government grants.
NIH didn't create the um the pacemaker.
It came
That
from
was
government grants, though.
yeah, but it was developed by a single doctor, and then he patented it, and then they started producing it over time, and then it got to where it is now, where there's 30 or 40 different patents on the pacemaker.
What about
So it
cancer
wasn't the
treatments?
NIH that did it.
It's that
Um,
that's definitely had
you
a
know,
lot of.
I can see where actual research like cancer, heart research, stuff like that could be beneficial to have NIH around, but I don't think it needs to be as powerful as it is.
What do you mean by powerful?
Well, they were able to just blanket say what we had to do during those 2 years. With nobody that was there was elected, nobody that was there was any part of the government whatsoever, but they were able to make all the laws.
Well, that's where like a lot of that's like our national. It's literally the National Institute for Health. Like it's
Yeah, but they're not policymakers.
no, but like they're the ones that like help guide along with the CDC. CDC was doing a lot, and they were like they worked with them for like recommendations on like how to proceed
Yeah,
because
they can. Yeah, you can give recommendations, but when you start making mandates, that's that's above and
what
beyond.
mandate did the NIH specifically make?
Well, you had your mask mandates, you have to stay at home mandates, you had your can't go do this mandate. We couldn't leave our homes for 2 years.
I told you, no candy. We waited till I went in the bathroom and had Dad open it.
No, that was from the CDC. Masks were from the CDC, not the NIH. And you said what else? The quarantines?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, also from the CDC.
Which they work. You realize that the CDC and NIH work congruently, right? Fauci was head of
But
CDC and
hold on.
NIH.
You just said that they can get recommendations.
Yeah, they can give recommendations. They can't
That's
make
exactly what they
mandates,
did. They did
which
it.
they did.
No, the CDC is the one. They're the ones responsible for the mandates,
Well,
and they have the legal authority too.
you might be right about the CDC, not the NIH. You might be right about that.
Yeah, they're
You
responsible
might be
for
right
that.
about that.
I mean, that's their job, literally.
Yep.
Center for Disease Control. The NIH was just like basically like for research, like they were responsible. Their job was responsible to help fund the vaccine, right? To work on a solution. The CDC's job was basically to control, to stop the spread, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's literally in the name.
And
Disease
then
control.
the funding that NIH was doing at Fauci's direction with the Beagles. I mean, that was pretty extreme, pretty ruthless.
I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't know too much about Fauci, but I
You know,
mean,
well, I can't remember what country they had it in, but they had a um, what are they called? What are they? What's Wuhan? The one of those virus research labs. But they had, I believe, it was 25 beagle dogs that they literally cut their vocal cords on so they couldn't bark and howl, and had ticks, lice, all kinds of stuff on these dogs, and they weren't allowed to move. They were chained down and just being eaten alive by different things. And that was at NIH funding.
mm.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, I don't think that we should get rid of the NIH. I think that they've done their job at least. I think that they're necessary. They're necessary to provide funding for a lot of other scientific projects. Well, related to health, obviously. There's a lot that isn't listed there. I obviously could list some more, but I wanted to get back to Trump, right? We got a few. We're getting a little late here, so we'll end it off with this if that's fine with you.
Yeah, that works.
These few points at least.
Yeah.
All right. Where should I start? Let me just read off a few here. So let's talk about January 6th.
hmm
What do you think about that? What do you think about him pardoning them?
Good.
Is good?
Yeah.
You think it was good that they broke into the Capitol?
Okay. Remember what I said about Portland and the firebombing of the police station?
I didn't say that that was good. I never said that was good.
But you said you could see why it happened, right?
I can see why they're mad. Yeah, just like I could see why the people. I know why. I know why all those people were mad. They were wrong for doing that. They were very wrong for doing that because you should know not to do that.
So so then you'd be okay with us going around and rounding up all of the BLM protesters then?
Look, there was a difference.
I
They
mean,
broke it.
if we're gonna have that
They
standard,
broke
then
it. They broke into the Capitol. That's the
they
like the.
firebomb police stations.
That's a. It's not. That's not the United States Capitol. I don't give a fuck about that
It's
tiny
a
little.
federal building.
Okay. Is that where we make laws?
No, but it's a federal building.
Let me see a picture of this fucking
So
building.
it's
What's the name of the
okay.
building?
It's
What building
okay
was
to
it?
bomb a place as
What the?
long as
Well,
it's
let me see this building. I want to see this building.
yeah, it's the police department in Portland, Oregon.
Okay, let me
I
look
believe it
this
was the
up.
Oklahoma County.
I'm looking it up right now. Police.
Or how about the Chop Zone in Seattle?
Let's see.
And the firebombing of the Minneapolis Police Department.
Okay, I'm not getting up again. Go to your room and go to bed. Okay, I just got up.
Was this during a riot?
I'm not getting
Yeah,
up.
it was during the George Floyd riots.
Oh, well, yeah, it's a fucking riot, dude. They're gonna fucking destroy hella buildings. They don't know. They
Oh
don't.
well, then okay, January 6th is perfectly fine.
That was not a riot. That was an insurrection.
How
There's a difference,
how
right?
what did it
Because
stop?
because let me explain to you the difference here, right? There's a very big difference here, right? One of those things was a police station, right? The worst that happens is that police station is out of order, right? If they were stopping a peaceful transfer of power, right? They were stopping the election
What
progress.
transfer of
Hold on, hold
power
on,
was
hold
happening
on.
on the 6th?
They were stopping the
There was no
election
transfer of power on
process.
the 6th.
It was the inauguration
The inauguration's on the 20th, not the 6th.
or the swearing in or whatnot, right? Something like
That's
that.
all done on the 20th.
It was something. It was something. They were there for Trump then or some shit. What was it for? I'll look it up.
It was to challenge the election results.
Yeah, for Trump, right? He had told them to come there, right?
Yeah, he asked for a, a sorry, my kid's crying here. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Um, sorry, just a second. I apologize.
Okay.
Okay. Um, sorry. I hope you couldn't hear all that.
No, I didn't hear none.
Okay. Kid's throwing a fit. um, but I forgot what I was saying. I'm sorry, my kid distracted me.
We're talking about January 6th.
Oh yeah, January 6th. Um, if the what happened on January 6th is super bad, then what happened that that 2 to 3 months we should arrest every single one of them, and I'd be okay with putting the January 6ers back in prison. I will make that concession.
Nah, dude, like it was different
Why? Why is it different?
because Trump incited them to do that, and like they're breaking into the Capitol. it's like like you're stopping, like there was government lawmakers in the Capitol, right? They were ducking behind desks and shit, right? They could have been killed, right? Now you're fucking now that definitely gets in the way of the peaceful transfer of power.
There was no restriction on transfer of power. It
They
still
were challenging
happened
the
on January
election. Yeah,
20th.
that's the reason, because they were challenging the results. He was already the president. It doesn't matter if he was
So,
inaugurated.
so, so should we go back 2016
So
then?
do you not think that
Uh,
he won?
because, well, yeah, I think you won.
You
Yeah, I
think
think you
Trump
won in
won?
2020. Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
think you think Joe Biden rigged it?
Yeah.
Uh,
You think Joe Biden got all those votes?
Bruh. Did you not hear the
Come on,
clip
man.
of Trump saying,
Let's not
hold
even
on, hold on,
let's not
hold on. Did you not hear the clip of Trump literally on the phone, literally saying, find me the votes?
okay. So are we gonna go back to 2016 then and lock up every person that said that Hillary won? Are we gonna go back to 2008 and lock up everybody that said that Obama didn't win? Is that what we're gonna do then?
If they break
If you're
into
gonna
the
have one
Capitol,
standard,
fuck
if
yeah. What the fuck? Arrest them.
okay, okay. So at the same time, then we should definitely arrest Al for what he did during Trump's speech at the last speech that he did in front of Congress.
Oh,
He
fuck no.
he.
Get the fuck out
Hey,
of here.
if you're gonna call one thing incitement, then the other one is as
That is
well.
not incitement here. All right, then let's talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene. She did the same thing to Biden when he was fucking. She was interrupting. She had her fucking MAGA outfit too.
Mm.
She was screaming.
She, oh, they had that. Oh wow, I didn't remember her getting kicked out.
Yeah, she did the same
I
thing.
didn't remember them having to stop it and kick anybody out.
Huh? Oh, they just because they were lenient.
And
Hold on,
so
wait,
then
wait. So you saying it
should the
because they were
representative be
lenient?
thrown in
Be-
jail for pulling the fire alarm during the vote?
He was not inside. You know what he got up and said? He said you do not have a mandate to cut what was it, Medicaid or Medicare, some one or the other. I don't know the difference, honestly. But he said you don't have a mandate, which is true because
And how many chances did they give him to sit down?
huh?
How many chances did they give him to sit down?
To sit down. What does that matter? He was making a it was a symbolic, it was civil disobedience, if you will put it.
And that's exactly what six was.
That was a bro. Right? You're gonna say that January 6th was civil disobedience?
Yeah.
They broke in. That was criminal. What are you talking about? They were beating up fucking. They literally killed like a couple cops.
The only person that died that day was Ashley Babbitt, an unarmed Trump supporter.
No, there was cops that died.
Air Force, is that true?
There was a cop
Trump
that died. I will look this up right now. There was cops that
Okay.
one cop got hit over the head with a fucking fire hydrant. That's a fact.
Got hit over the head with a fire hydrant.
Yep.
Somebody
No,
picked
no,
up
no,
a
no, no.
fire hydrant
No, no,
off the ground.
no, 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 no. Wait, I'm stupid. I'm stupid. I meant to say fire extinguisher, not a fire hydrant.
I was like, damn, that's
No.
wrong.
No, a fire
I was like, yeah,
extinguisher.
that might have killed him if he got hit in the head with a fire hydrant.
No, no, it was a fire extinguisher, my bad. I didn't mean to say that. Shit. I was like, and I literally said it. I was like, that's a fact. My dumb ass. But what was I looking up? Oh yeah. Yeah, cops
two
that
cops
died.
that died on the 6th.
I know one died in a hospital. I think it was because of that. It was the one that got hit over the head. He died in the hospital like the day later because he got hit over the head. What? Oh no. Some died days. Yeah, the ones that yeah they died days later. So, fucking I hate the way it works. They didn't die on the day January 6th, right? But they died because of their injuries. It was some later died.
Sitnick, Ryan
So
Sitnick,
yeah. So look.
the
So
guy that had a stroke.
hold on. That was one guy. It was one guy. It was a,
Hmm.
but it was probably because he was fucking stressed out from the day before. Anyway, uh, Jeffrey Smith, right? He was assaulted
Hmm.
during the riot, and later he died. He died by suicide on January 15th. Howard Living Good,
But
Capitol Police, also died by. All these are dying by suicide. Why are they all killing themselves?
yeah,
Yeah, it's because they fucking they're God damn. Why they all kill themselves?
that's terrible.
There's definitely a reason. It definitely had to be correlated to that. Come on, they were brought to national television. This definitely had an effect on their lives. Died by suicide, all of them. Holy shit! Except for the one guy that had a fucking stroke. Holy shit!
Hmm.
Who was the guy that got hit over the head? Who
I think that was
was
Brian Sitnick that got hit in the head.
one? What the Oh, we
The
did.
only guy
Yeah,
that actually
I would
died.
say
I
his
think it
strokes
was,
are probably related to him getting hit over the fucking head.
could be, or you know,
No, yeah, it was the next day.
I don't
He
think they
died the
actually
next.
did like
He, he
I don't
died
think
the
they did an
next.
actual autopsy on him.
The dude died the next day.
Yeah.
If he got hit, I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna figure out which one it was. Who got hit over the head with fire? Sure. Yeah, it was that Brian guy. Yeah, so you're gonna tell me you get hit over the head with a fire extinguisher, and then the next day you die from a stroke? That wasn't no, hell no. He died. That was definitely related to his injuries. So
Well,
yeah,
you'd have to show that, but
I mean, dude, I mean,
I mean, there's a strong correlation there that I can
yeah,
see. Yeah, but I don't,
definitely
you
a
know.
strong correlation.
Hmm.
So I
But the
mean,
only person that actually did die that day was Ashley Babbitt, who was unarmed and was shot through a window
what by who?
by the Capitol Police.
The Capitol Police?
Hmm.
I mean,
And then
granted,
he went on 60 Minutes and bragged about killing her.
all right. Well, I don't think you should be bragging about killing people, but I mean, I wouldn't call that justified. If you're gonna talk about bragging about, I don't know. If he was truly bragging about killing her, then no, I don't. Fuck that. He shouldn't have
Yeah,
did
he said he thought it was one of the greatest achievements of his life.
that. Yeah, well, I mean, the difference here is like, I mean, I'm a liberal reacting to this, right? But if we just let's say I'm a conservative, right? And you just told me that was a Democrat, right? Oh, I don't give a fuck. She shouldn't have been there. That,
He
that,
shouldn't
that
have been the capital that she paid for.
yeah, let's say I'm a conservative, right? And
Hmm.
and and I'm approaching this from a non-empathetic perspective by any means. And I'm just saying,
Hmm.
oh, well, she shouldn't have fucking been there. Wrong place. She shouldn't have. She shouldn't have went to that fucking. Just like you would say, those people shouldn't have gone to those riots and burnt down the police station, right? I'd
Hmm.
make the argument that they shouldn't have been at the Capitol rioting.
But the problem is they paid for the Capitol and still pay for the Capitol, and everybody there works for us. So we are allowed to go there and voice our opinion.
Yeah, well, not riot like that. That wasn't just voicing your opinions. No, that wasn't a peaceful protest by any means. They fight.
You do realize that there was like 1.5 million people that were there, and there was only um, what everybody calls a riot on one little corner. You realize that, right? It wasn't like the entire Capitol was under attack.
Yeah, and it turned into mob rule as soon as fucking yeah, it's the mob mentality. Once
And
one person.
do you know who started it?
Oh, probably fucking some right wing people, some Nazis or something. I don't know.
I can give you a name.
Proud Boys?
I can give you the exact name of the person that started the entire riot.
Was it the Proud Boys?
Mike Epps.
Isn't that the leader of the Proud Boys?
Nope.
Who's that?
Mike Epps is a FBI informant. He doesn't work for the FBI. He works with the FBI as an informant. 30 seconds before everybody crashed the barricade, you can see him whispering into two different guys' ears and then pushing them. The day before, he was caught downtown telling everybody to break into the Capitol, where they, right off the bat, said, "Oh, you're a Fed."
So, him push. You're saying him pushing somebody is what caused the entire crowd to
He
to.
was at the head of where the barricade was. There was only one other person between him and the guardrail fence that was there. He whispers something into the two guys' ears, pushes them, and that's when the riot starts.
Wasn't he charged?
No, no, he's the only person that was never brought in,
I mean,
along with the DNC bomber.
the DNC bomber.
Yeah, did you know there was a pipe bomb placed outside the DNC that day?
Oh no, I had no clue.
Yep. Well, Kamala was at the DNC, so why isn't there an investigation into that?
Wait, wait. You said this is Kamala?
Yeah, while she was at the DNC headquarters,
You're giving me a
somebody
lot of
had put a
conspiracy
pipe
theory right
bomb.
now.
No, this is all proven. This is all come out in congressional hearings and everything.
What are you talking about?
Look
This
up
is
DNC pipe
yeah.
bomber.
You gotta tell me the DNC pipe bomber.
January 6th. There's video and everything.
An unidentified suspect who planted two explosives near the DNC and RNC headquarters. So you know who this unidentified person is? How you really
Do I know?
How do I know?
But what I'm saying is why wouldn't they want to investigate that as well?
They did.
They didn't.
No, they did. It says right here the FBI investigated it. It says the FBI has
They
surveillance.
investigated an unknown person.
It says they have surveillance footage of a suspect wearing a hoodie, face mask, gloves, and carrying a backpack. A $500,000 reward is being offered for information leading to the arrest. The bombs have been a distraction.
That sounds like a pretty big problem.
Hmm. But how do you relate this to Kamala? How do you know this is Kamala?
No, I'm not saying anything. I'm saying she was at the DNC headquarters when they found the pipe bomb. Why wouldn't they want to know who put that pipe bomb there when the vice president is in that building?
They did investigate it though.
No, they really didn't, because you realize how surveillance works, right? You can track back where people have come from.
Yeah, but
They didn't do
sometimes
any
there's
of that
there's gaps in that sometimes, right?
in Washington D.C.
It-
You think there's gaps
Possibly.
around the DNC?
What happens when you walk away from the DNC?
I mean,
Exactly. You
oh, I'm
can't be.
sorry, I didn't hear your question.
Oh, no, what happens when you leave when you walk away from the DNC?
When who walks away? The bomber?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. You could track him down to where he goes.
How? How?
They
With
didn't.
what cameras? So you say they got cameras at the DNC? All right. Now he leaves the DNC. Now,
CCTV is all over DC.
not
DC is
every,
one of the
not at
most
every square
videographed
inch.
cities. No, it doesn't have to be every square inch, but you can sure trace people pretty well.
Yeah, but it's not a foolproof.
It doesn't have to be foolproof. They haven't even investigated a single person.
They got a video of him with a mask. All right, so they got a video of him with the mask. They caught him on video. Now where do you go?
Okay, now you either go forward till you see that person get into a car, or you go backwards until you see where they came from.
All right, he got in a car that has no license plate and he drove off. And now he's somewhere where there's no cameras.
That'd be really hard to do, especially with satellite. I mean, if you know the vehicle, you don't even have to have the VIN number. All you have to do is just know the geographical location, and you can link it up with a satellite.
The vehicle,
Yeah.
you would have to have like live coverage. That's extremely
No, it's
hard
because it's
and
all still
resource
recorded just
intensive.
like CCTV.
Well, you can't just track everything through satellite. They're not that advanced with it. It's like really hard to do that.
Dude, we can hit. Have you heard of the, what is it called? The knife missile or something like that? The katana missile. Um, comes out with 5 swords. Have you heard of that?
No.
So it's this missile that's up in outer space. It's on one of the satellites up there. You can
Oh,
deploy it from outer
the
space.
kinetic missile.
Uh, yeah, yeah.
It's
But it
like
has,
it's got
when
no
the missile
explosives
deploys, no explosives. It's strictly just,
or
it
metal
literally
rod.
has 5 katana blades that pop out. And we've killed 2 different people with it from space. I'm pretty sure we could track a guy in a car.
All right, I see. I see your argument.
And that missile is so accurate that they were able to even kill a guy inside of a fully loaded car with 3 other people and didn't touch the other people that were in the car. I
Well,
mean, me personally, I think we
but
went a
that's
little
it. That's it.
overboard with the missile,
But that's
but
if they know your location, though, right? They could
yeah, like I
easily.
said, all they need to do is know the location, so they see where the guy got into the car. Then they hit the satellite with the location information, and then they track it.
You can't track. It's not. You can't track it though. It's not. You can't just
Wow.
track it like that. Like there's cloud coverage. There's tree coverage. Like you can't. Like there's like the atmosphere gets
You
in the way.
realize we do it all the time, right?
Yeah, but it's not like 100% foolproof. I don't think.
even if it was only 80%,
You could just go
you would
under
at
like
least
a
have
bridge.
one suspect by now.
You can just go. There's plenty of people who go like undetected by the government. The government's not allowed to use that level of technology on like U.S. citizens.
Well, it's not a war crime the first time, right?
Well, we're not at war with
But
ourselves.
no, but what I'm just saying, laws only affect it till that law is enacted, right?
Hmm?
So they get around these kind of things all the time.
I guess. Well, Trump gets away with a lot, don't you think?
I think the Democratic Party gets away with a lot too.
But do you
I don't think there's any one great politician. I don't think anybody's ever been totally awesome.
right? But you think
Um,
that Trump is a better version?
yeah, absolutely. Compared to the last 4 years we just had, 100%.
Let me ask you: do you believe? Yeah, I think this is going to be a yes. You believe in trickle down economics?
No,
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 you don't think that's what Trump's for?
no. Trump is for just getting rid of the government entities to begin with, so we don't have to pay for them, so that we just keep our money.
Yeah, he wants to privatize it.
What is he privatizing?
The space agency with SpaceX. He's trying to privatize
Well,
anything that he can.
you realize NASA's privatized, right? NASA is not an actual government entity.
They're not.
NASA is just funded by the government.
What? Let me see. I didn't know that. I don't think that's true. Yeah, they're a government agency.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, independent
Oh,
agency
I
of
was
the
a
United
hundred
States
percent.
federal government. They founded
I was a
in
hundred percent sure they were independent.
no, they were founded in 1950 under the National Aeronautics and Space Act. Uh,
Oh,
they're an
I'm wrong about
independent.
that.
They're an independent agency. They're not part of a cabinet department.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's okay. I see where I got mixed up on
Yeah,
that. I see where I got mixed up.
they report directly to the president.
Yeah.
Funding comes from the federal budget appropriations, obviously, taxpayer money.
Yeah.
They
But even so,
also work
what
with
is
Boeing.
the problem with with working with Musk then?
I want them to like do that shit in house. Like he wants to take over like entire missions and shit. You know what I'm saying? And he can do that,
What
but
good
he
has
can do that
NASA
on
done?
his own. He can do that on his own accord. You know?
Yeah, but when he's got to go and get our own people because our past president was too big of a dipshit to allow him to go up there and get our people to begin with, I'd say NASA's probably not doing their job. They were
They
up there for
lied
nine
about
months.
that. They lied about that.
Who lied?
Elon.
Elon lied about what?
He lied about them being. It was always the plan to bring them back on the Dragon capsule.
It was.
Yeah, according
They
to
planned on going up there for nine months. They were like, "Hey, we're gonna send you up there for 9 months, and we're just gonna make it look like we abandoned you." That
God,
was the
my
plan.
phone won't turn the fuck on. I gotta go to my YouTube and I'll show you.
Uh-oh. It didn't shut off, did it?
My phone died. I'm gonna send you this video and then I gotta get out of here.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no worries.
It's getting late, but
Sorry, we've been going back and forth for a while.
yeah, we definitely continue this another time, and
Yeah, for sure.
I'll have some more topics with me to hit you with. Let me look at my search. Oh, was it in my liked videos? Where is it? Oh, but where is? Oh, I don't know, but it was just he. Here, I know how to find it. Hold on. Here, you can
Oh,
watch.
I've got
Yeah, here, I'll send you. I'll
every
send
row
you a
today.
Vosh video. This is this is a socialist right here. So you're gonna. I watch him a lot. He's one of my. I like some of his views, not all of them, but he's a socialist
Hmm.
like me. So we're
What's his
pretty.
name?
A Vosh.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
who Vosh
Okay.
is?
Yeah, yeah. I watched a few of his debates.
Yeah, he's got a video on it. You do you also watch Kyle Kolaski?
I don't think so.
Oh, I gotta send you one of his videos so you can check out his channel. He's got a great channel. He reports a lot. Like he gets into the specifics of like he like reports on this shit. He's like a news outlet. He's an independent news outlet. He
Okay,
doesn't take any
like
money
a Tim
from
Pool kind of guy.
yeah. Well, yeah, but he
Okay.
doesn't take any money from any advertisers.
Oh,
He's
okay.
yeah. He only has the default YouTube ads. That's all he does. He doesn't do
Mm.
no ad reads or nothing like that. But he is definitely
So it's
very
all viewer
leftist.
supported then.
He's definitely very leftist, though. I will say,
Yeah.
as a liberal. He
I don't mind listening to leftists. I really don't. I listen to everybody. So
all right, cool. I'm gonna send you his shit real quick. Here's the voice video, and I'll send you a juicy Kyle Kolaski video. And I'll just send you this one about Trump illegally firing some FTC guy, the FTC commissioner or some shit. So you definitely gotta check out a lot of his other videos because he's got a lot of good content for sure.
Okay.
I get a lot of my news from him. Voss not so much, but I loved watching Voss's debates. He stopped debating though like a fucking bitch. He said
Oh, is that why he hasn't been on anymore?
yeah, he said I seen him in a video once. He said I'm done. I stopped debating. He says it's because people were all bad faith and that he couldn't get a good faith discussion with anyone.
Yeah. When you're such a terrible debater, though, I mean, I get why you stop.
No, I thought he was a good debater. I thought he was a good
Everything is just
debater.
his preference, though. He doesn't have any backing for anything. Everything is just my preference. My preference.
I guess, but not because he would like. I
But I
don't
do
know.
find him humorous. He's does say some
I
funny
guess so.
things.
But I gotta get up out of here. It was nice talking to you, but
All right, man.
I'll DM you and we'll set up another time to do this again for sure.
For sure. Right on.
Awesome.
All right, man. Well, hey, you have a good night.
You too, dude.
All right. Talk to you later.